I want y'all to look at Deuteronomy 33 and verse 1. He said, and this is the blessing wherewith Moses, the man of God, blessed the children of Israel before his death. And he said, Yah came from Sinai and rose up from Seir unto them. He shined forth from Mount Paran, and he came with 10,000s of his saints from his right hand with a fiery law for them. Yea, he loved the people. All his saints are in thy hand, and they sat down at thy feet. Every one shall receive of thy words. Now we're going to look at these things. The Lord permit, we're going to go through whatever it is that he wants us to look at as it pertains to showing forth of him out of this here. In verse 2, what you seen now? Said he coming forth, and he coming forth with 10,000s of his saints. Y'all seen anything in that? Before we go any further though, you hold Deuteronomy 33, and y'all look at Judges 5. Because guess what? Pell said he got woke up the other morning. Lord gave him something that's pertaining to his return. And then he let me see something later on in the day as pertaining to his return. And he let me catch this Deuteronomy 33 just a couple hours ago. Because we were going to go in one direction. And he directed me to deal with the Deuteronomy 33. Because y'all need to look at this here. Because when the Lord get here, is you going to be ready. Because you got niggas out here telling you this man ain't coming. You got niggas out here talking about there's not going to even be a physical resurrection of the dead. That David ain't coming. I don't even see how niggas can say that when this man say that in the kingdom of God, Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob going to be sitting down eating. Ain't that what he said? So how Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob going to come back unless they get resurrected from the dead? Can anybody answer me how these men going to be able to be reanimated without a resurrection? I surely like to know. But when you's a dumb nigga, you's a dumb nigga. You know what I'm talking about? Look at Judges 5 and 18. It says Zebulun and Naphtali were a people that jeopardized their lives under death into the high places of the field. Now, anybody remember what Zebulun means? You remember? Zebulun means to dwell. What about Naphtali? Remember that means? Naphtali means with great wrestlings I have prevailed. Now, we done dealt with feeling afflicted, right? And that through that affliction you come out right. So through great affliction you gonna prevail. You understand? Now let's look at John 14 and 23. I gave y'all this little game for free earlier in the week. You know, sometimes he let you get a preview of what we might deal with. Sometimes he let me shoot you something earlier in the week. Some of y'all might see it. Some of you might not see it. Either way it go, you're going to hear it. I want you to look at John 14 and 23. He said, Yeshua answered and said unto him, if a man love me, he will keep my words. That's the number one key thing. If you say to love the Lord, you're going to do what he say. If you're not doing what he's saying, he's going to tell you that in the next verse, you don't love him. He said, my Father will love him, and we will come unto him and make our abode with him. So in this last part of the verse, what he just said, he said, we're going to make Zebulun with him, didn't he? Because he said, we're going to make our abode. Because when you abide somewhere, what are you doing? You dwell in there. Look what he said in verse 24. He that loved me not, keep not my sayings. And the word which you hear is not mine, but the Father's which sent me. Which is going back to what we dealt with a couple weeks ago. Because that man say the words that I put in his mouth, that's what he going to speak. And he that don't hear the words of this prophet, I'm going to require it of him. You got to remember, the law and the prophets were till John. Now Yeshua is priest. Now Yeshua is speaking to you. Don't hear the Lord if you want to. And we're going to deal with that in a second in Deuteronomy 33. Don't hear the man if you want to. And you're going to see what's going to happen to you. Look what he said in verse 25. These things have I spoken unto you, being yet present with you. But the Comforter, which is the Ruach Kodesh, the set apart Spirit, whom the Father will send in my name, he shall teach you all things and bring all things to your remembrance whatsoever I said unto you. So if he's bringing all things to your remembrance, that means the testimony with you. See, the reason why a lot of y'all will not get the set apart spirit or the spirit of separation, because you ain't set yourself apart yet, and that's why you're not going to get it. You playing like you done set yourself apart. You ain't set yourself apart yet because your heart ain't right. What we was dealing with earlier. Some of y'all done start doing outward things, but your heart's still rotten. You still got stuff that's on the inside of you that you ain't got rid of, and you ain't set yourself apart in that. When you need to get that stuff up out of there. That's the only way he's going to dwell there. We done dealt with this before. Can God dwell in an unclean house? Remember what happened when they defiled his physical temple? What did he do with it? Remember when we dealt with that? What did he do with it? He burnt it down. You know what I'm talking about? Play with the man if you want to, and you don't get his tabernacle or your house or your body right, and you don't get that clean, he's going to burn you down. Now let's look at John 16 and 33. Make it 31. And the reason why the Lord telling you this here, because the man wants you to be saved. The man done told you as many as he loved, he chastened and rebuked. He said you need to be zealous. You need to be passionate and repent. You need to turn yourself. John 16:31. A lot of y'all ain't passionate about stop doing what you're doing. You hesitate. I guarantee you if the Lord told y'all to make some of y'all to make a move and do it right then, some of you niggas gonna be like, should I do it? I don't know. That's why people be wondering, well, why the Lord talk to him and he don't talk to me? The Lord don't talk to some of you niggas because he know you're not gonna do what he tell you to do. Hold on, y'all. Somebody just texted me that I'm utterly shocked and surprised that they did so. No, somebody just told on themselves. Just text me something they really meant that was somebody else. Don't even know they just told on themselves. But no, I said John 16:31. See, I'm gonna tell you, it's a lot of people out here. They playing. They ain't serious about being saved. You got to start looking at this thing, man. You got to start looking at people who are on the outside, and you got to be asking yourself, if he's giving you a chance to get on the inside, why are you gonna do stuff to get you put back on the outside? But John 16:31, look what the Lord just tells these people. He said, YESHUA answered them, do ye now believe? See, the Lord trying to get you to believe now. Because I guarantee you, when he get back here, or if you die, just like you were talking about how you woke up sleep, and you were like, how did I get here? See, that's how a lot of people going to wake up sleep when they come up out that grave. They're going to be like, how did I get here? Yeah, you're going to find out how you got here in a minute. You don't want to wake up like that, because I imagine you would sleep so long you didn't know what happened. You were probably good and scared. Everybody done left there. It's dark in here.
I wasn't scared. I guess you could say.
I ain't talking about that scared like you like this. I'm talking about like coward type scared. Yeah. Like, what's going on? Look here, everybody done had that time you done woke up out to sleep and like you didn't remember how you got to the spot, and you like, what's going on? You get nervous. You know what I'm talking about? You don't want to be walking around here nervous with the Lord. There's no reason any one of y'all should be walking around here nervous. And truth be told, I done said it before, I done said it again, and I'll say it again. If you don't have the Spirit, you have no business being comfortable. You ain't got no business pointing no fingers at nobody. You ain't got no business telling people, oh, this gonna happen to you, this gonna happen to you. You better tighten up. Simple as that. He said, behold, the hour coming, yea, now is come, that you shall be scattered, every man to his own, and shall leave me alone. Yet I am not alone, because the Father is with me. So y'all got to sit there and look at that, though, because it talks about those who dwelt with the Lord and prevailed. He said, yeah, y'all going to be scattered. And that's going to happen when these people come to get it. They might scatter. Matter of fact, hold what you got, and go to Jeremiah 51. I want to say about verse 41. No, verse 48. Matter of fact, make it 46. Just because what's going on in the world. I know y'all pretty much might have heard about this stuff that's going on in Russia, in the Ukraine, and these people thinking that, oh, they going to do this stuff, and niggas like, oh, World War III coming, and if it come, it come, and if it don't, it don't. But let's just look what he say. He say, lest your heart faint, and ye for fear for rumors that shall be heard in the land. A rumor shall come, both come 1 year, and after that in another year, and shall come a rumor. And violence in the land, and ruler against ruler. Ain't that what the Lord told you? You'll hear rumors of wars, and kingdoms will rise up against kingdoms, but the end ain't yet. Jeremiah done already told you. The Lord came back and told you the same thing. You're going to hear rumors of wars and all this stuff going to happen. But guess what he did in the text right there? He said, therefore, behold, the days come that I will do judgment upon the graven images of Babylon. Her whole year, 51 and 47 now. 47. The verse before that was 46. That's where we started at. Matter of fact, look at 40. Look at verse 44. He said, I will punish Baal in Babylon, and I will bring forth out of his mouth that which he swallowed up, and the nation shall not flow together any more into him. Yeah, the wall of Babylon shall fall. You got a lot of dudes be like, oh, Babylon in Iraq, Babylon is America. But guess what? Babylon is confusion. The truth be told, you know what Babylon was to the living God? It was an enemy. You know what I'm saying? At that time, Babylon is what we call Iraq, but it was an enemy to God. It worshipped idols. You know what I'm talking about? It flaunted this man to his face. And you can look at every country in the earth. They do that. You know what I'm saying? The reason why you can sit here and say people be saying America is Babylon because America upholds many Babylonian pagan sun-worshipping traditions. You know what I'm talking about? When we look at Lent, that's going on right now. Since I mentioned Lent, hold to Jeremiah 8 and look at Ezekiel 8 and 13. Because I had to show, thank the Lord, he took me straight to it. I had to make it verse 12. I had to show somebody this here the other day. You just had these people dealing with Ash Wednesday. People putting crosses on their forehead. Y'all already know a cross is a curse and a disgrace and abomination before God. No, Ezekiel 8 verse 12. Yeah, that's what that is. Oh, you actually seen somebody with it?
Yeah.
I've never seen anyone in my life with that on their forehead, ever.
My first time about it, I was in a Christian school. And she was Catholic or whatever. But I seen the mark on her because I think it was a mark or something like. I was like, hey man, you got
That's dust and ashes.
Yeah. She was just told me, I was like, boy, you got something over here, right? She's like, yeah, I went there. I'm like, where was that?
Yeah, Pale Dwight just saying he just seen somebody for the first time do that. And see, they get the dust and ashes because we repented in sackcloth and ashes. And this is everything they doing. They take bits and pieces of all ways. You know what I'm talking about? To morph with their paganism. You know what I'm talking about? But look what he told Ezekiel right here in the 8th chapter and the 12th verse. He said, then he said unto me, Son of man, hast thou seen what the ancients of the house of Israel do in the dark? See, that's what I want y'all to realize. That man said, you see what they do in the dark? See, some of y'all be doing stuff in the dark. You think the Lord don't know. See, he took us here for a reason. For that specific reason. Because y'all do stuff and you think don't nobody see. But the Lord sees you. And guess what? Why you think the Lord told you? What you do in the dark, it's going to come to the light. And what you say in the closet, it's going to be screamed out in the rooftop. Because guess what? Ain't nobody else got to see it. The Lord going to see it, and he going to put you out there for it. Some of y'all, he ain't even got to put y'all out there for it. You put yourself out there. Here's what he said. He said, do you see what the ancients of the house of Israel do in the dark? Every man in the chambers of his imagery. For they say, Yah see us not. Yah have forsaken the earth. He said unto me, turn thee yet again, and thou shalt see greater abomination that they do. He said that then he brought me to the door of the gate of Yah's house, which was towards the north, and behold, there sat women, weeping for Tammuz. Now go back to Jeremiah 50. The purpose of this here, that's where that come in with that Add Wednesday, because that's who they weeping for. They weeping for Tammuz. See, for 40 days and 40 nights, the ancient Babylonians weep for Tammuz. Tammuz is one of them false pagan deities who they claim story is like the Lord's. And see, what they did is the reason why they say, what you giving up for Lent? Because when they look at the 40 days and 40 nights, that's how long Moses was on the mountain, right? So that's why that's how long the Lord fasted for before he was tempted of the devil. He went without 40 days and 40 nights. That's what these people come in at talking about. They fasting without, I ain't eating no bread. I'm not going to eat no fish. I'm going to go without the internet. I seen some of them probably say, I'm not going to masturbate for 40 days. Shouldn't be masturbating anyway. I'm going to give up masturbation. You know what I'm saying? That's what they say, I'm going to give this up for. I actually seen niggas who say, I don't keep Lent, but what y'all giving up for Lent? Niggas, what? But what all that is January 1st is pagan worship of Janus. And then from January 1st, they roll into Mardi Gras, which is the worship of Bacchus. And then from Bacchus, they roll into Lent, which is the worship of Tammuz. And then they roll into Easter, which is the worship of Ashtaroth. And all these are Babylonian deities. Which, truthfully, you could take it back and you could line it up with Egyptian deities. You know what I'm talking about? So they worship false gods, which means, boom, you say what you want to say. There's a lot of lands on this earth got idols in it. I don't think it's not a land on the earth that's exempt. Not even our homeland is exempt from having idols in it. You know what I'm talking about? But if I was willing to wager, out of one country upon the face of the earth that had more idols in it than any one, I would think the United States of America would be the top on the list. I could be wrong. But if I was a betting man, if I went to the crap tables, I put my money on this horse. You know what I'm talking about? The Statue of Liberty ain't nothing but an idol. You know what I'm talking about? These people make idols. Nigga, Vince Carter got an idol. Like, seriously. And that's my nigga. You know what I'm talking about? I like to watch that. I watched him play ball just the other night. You know what I'm talking about? That's my nigga. I'm talking about, that's one of my favorite basketball players. Even had a jersey here. You know what I'm talking about? In my younger days. I like that guy. He's a mean ball player. Especially in his prime. He ain't mean enough to have no goddamn idol, bro. Magic Johnson got an idol. Martin Luther King got a 30-foot idol in Washington, D.C. The Washington Monument is an idol. That's a full penis. Mount Rushmore is an idol. There are so many. Magic Johnson got an idol. Larry Bird got an idol. Michael Jordan, Scottie Pippen got an idol. He ain't even real. He just hit the one on that. Rocky Balboa got an idol. This ain't even a real man. This is a movie character. This is a movie character. You can go right in Philadelphia and look at this idol. These people sell idol candlesticks. People wear idols for earrings, for necklaces. Niggas get idols tattooed on their body. You're not finna go nowhere in the Middle East and find all these idols. You're gonna find some idols now. But you ain't gonna find no idols like you find around here. You're just not gonna see that. Yeah. It's ridiculous. You know what I'm saying? It's ridiculous. And guess what? Y'all supposed to be abhorred at that. That's supposed to vex your soul when you see some of this stuff that go on in this earth. Y'all ain't even vexed by it. Go what you got. Go to 1 Peter 2. It might be 2 Peter 2. It's 2 Peter 2. Look at verse 6. Make it verse 5. Matter of fact, make it verse 4. He said, for if God spared not the angels that sinned, but cast them down to hell, and delivered them into the chains of darkness to be reserved under judgment, and spared not the old world, but saved Noah, the eighth person, a preacher of righteousness, bringing in the flood upon the world of the ungodly, and turning the cities of Sodom and Gomorrah into ashes, condemned them with an overthrow, making them an example unto those that after that should live ungodly. Sodom and Gomorrah is supposed to let you niggas know, you want to be a sinner, I'm going to burn you up. And this going to make sense in a minute for what we started with in Deuteronomy 33 and Judges the 5th chapter. The man say, that was for an example for you. Some of y'all still ain't got the example. But you want to tell people about what he did with Sodom and Gomorrah and don't know he going to burn you up with fire and brimstone too. That's what he told you was in the lake. And Ron, you let me know when we get finished, because I don't know if you know the lake of fire in the Old Testament, but I'm going to show it to you. That ain't even something we don't even need to waste my time recording that. Pell no, we debated a clown about this about almost 2 years ago. He couldn't deal with it. We pulled it right out of the scripture too. I don't do debate too often, but we cocked his head in that day. Verse 7, he said, delivered just Lot, vexed with the filthy behavior of the wicked. For that righteous man dwelling among them and seeing and hearing, vexed his righteous soul from day to day with their unlawful deeds. That's what's wrong with some of y'all. Y'all see this unlawful stuff that people be doing, you don't be vexed. You be wanting to join right in with them, some of y'all. You want to join right on in with them. Your heart don't even be vexed. Like you should be vexed. Y'all know what it means to be vexed is something totally different than anger. That's just like some utter disgust. You know what I'm talking about? I'd have been vexed before. It was usually when I was incarcerated, was seeing the treatment of how they treated people. You know what I'm talking about? Because well and good, we done broke a law or whatever. But in prison it was one thing. In the county it's another, because you ain't even been convicted yet. You know what I'm talking about? Like, technically, you're supposed to be innocent. You know what I'm talking about? And the treatment of people, it really vexed me. I remember I seen a man was having a seizure, and the CO came in there and put the man in handcuffs. And I'm like, really, dude? Man having a seizure, and you gonna put him in handcuffs? How smart is that? Total lack of compassion for people. I seen it with the police, how they talk to people, how they treat people. You know what I'm saying? Some of the way Israelites act vexes me to my soul with their stupidity. But nevertheless, go back to Jeremiah 51. We just had to go into that there to show y'all this thing about land. We get back to what we started with. We in verse 44. He said, I will punish Baal in Babylon. I will bring forth out of his mouth that which he has swallowed up, and the nation shall not flow together any more unto him. Yea, the wall of Babylon shall fall. My people, go ye out in the midst of her. Deliver ye every man his soul from the fierce anger of Yah. Sound like what he told you in Revelation 18. To come out from among her, my people, and be not partakers of her sin. And that come on two levels. Because I done told some of y'all before, we're going to have to leave this place. And you'll have dudes that be like, oh, that's that flee to the wilderness doctrine. I don't know nothing about fleeing to no wilderness. I can't tell you nothing about fleeing to no wilderness. But I know common sense tells me we're going to have to leave here. What you say, Lamar? Because when we go back and we look at Nehemiah and Ezra, did them people stay in Medes and Persia and all them other places, or did they leave? They left to get to Jerusalem. That man said, hey, man, all Jews, y'all can go back where you came from. They didn't say back, how are we going to get there? That's what when you tell certain Israelites, hey man, we gonna have to lead there. How we gonna get there? I say, nigga, 10 toes down, nigga. Nigga went to laughing like you niggas ain't never heard of walking. You know what I'm talking about? How you think people got around before there was planes and boats and cars? It was called your 2 feet, nigga. You don't have to walk. Why you think? I'll show it to you. Lord willing, we get it all together. Y'all just bear with it. It's so much stuff, man, that y'all need to know, man. The stuff just be flowing to my mind. You know what I'm talking about? But we just can't deal with it all at one time sometimes. But look at verse 45. Now we drop down to verse 47 now. He said, therefore, behold, the days come that I will do judgment upon the graven images of Babylon, and her whole land shall be confounded, and all her slain shall fall in the midst of her. Then the heaven and earth and all that is therein shall sing for Babylon, for the spoilers shall come unto her from the north, saith Yah. And as Babylon hath caused the slain of Israel to fall, so at Babylon shall fall the slain of all the earth. And ye that have escaped the sword, go away, and stand not still. Remember Yah far off, and let Jerusalem come into your mind. Remember what the Lord told you in Matthew 24? He said, don't let your flight be on the Sabbath day during the winter, because when you see certain things, you're going to have to hit it. You know what I'm talking about? Now, when you can look at Luke, you know he's talking about 70 AD, but Jeremiah tell you to say, time coming, you're going to have to hit it. Because when we left out of Babylon, we didn't leave in that fashion, did we not? When we left out of there during the time of Ezra and Nehemiah, when we left out of Babylon, remember Nebuchadnezzar was king of Babylon, Lord took him down. Set up his son. His son was stupid. He took him down, and he gave it to the Medes and Persians. You know what I'm talking about? Darius the Mede told us we could leave on our own. You know what I'm talking about? Xerxes said you could dip on your own. Did he not say it right or wrong? Correct me if I'm wrong. But did we leave in haste, or did we leave of our own volition? We didn't even have to leave if we didn't want to leave. Matter of fact, look at Nehemiah the 8th chapter. I just want to make sure. If you got to make sure, because you know niggas be like, oh man, that nigga just telling y'all stuff. Matter of fact, make it Ezra 1. Just make it so now. Y'all need to know this now. Because they didn't leave Babylon like this. Ezra 1 and 1. He said, now in the first year of Cyrus, king of Persia, the word of Yah by the mouth of Jeremiah might be fulfilled. Yah stirred up the spirit of Cyrus, king of Persia. And he made a proclamation throughout all his kingdom, and put it also in writing, saying, thus saith Cyrus, king of Persia, Yah, God of heaven, had given me all the kingdoms of the earth, and had charged me to build him a house at Jerusalem, which is in Judah. Who there is among you of all his people, his God be with him. Let him go up to Jerusalem, which is in Judah, and build the house of Yah, God of Israel. He is the God, which is in Jerusalem. And whosoever remain in any place where he sojourn, let the man of his place help him with silver, and with gold, and with goods, and with beasts, besides the freewill offering for the house of God that is in Jerusalem. This man not only told these people to let these people go, he told them to give them some stuff with them. You hear that? He told them, man, you make sure you give them some beasts, you give them like this here. Y'all make sure y'all take an offering back. Let's see if Nehemiah say the same thing, y'all. Let's see if Nehemiah, because it's the same time period. Let's see if Nehemiah say the same thing. Nehemiah 2 and 1. Let me see if this is what I want. Says, yeah, look at this. He said, and it came to pass in the month of Nisan, in the 20th year. So if it's the month of Nisan, y'all, that's the first month of the year. That would mean that would be the month in which Passover is in. He say, of Xerxes the king, the wine that was before him, I took up the wine and gave it unto the king. Now I had not been aforetime sad in his presence. Wherefore the king said unto me, why is thy countenance sad? Seeing thou art not sick, there's nothing else but sorrow of heart. Then I was very sore afraid, and said unto the king, let the king live forever. Why should not my countenance be sad when the city, the place of my father's sepulchres, lay waste, and the gates thereof are consumed with fire? Then the king said unto me, for what dost thou make request? So I prayed to the God of heaven. And I said unto the king, if it please the king, and if thy servant have found favor in thy sight, that thou would send me unto Judah and unto the city of my father's sepulchres, that I may build it. Now you see, now when you look at something right this here, you could also see this here about this pertaining to the Lord, could you not? Because remember, he said he was weeping because the city of his fathers laid waste. He said, let me go to my city so I can build it. And where did the Lord go to build his church at? He went to you think the Lord wasn't sitting at his Father's right hand weeping, seeing the desolation and destruction of his people? He said, let me go around there and build it. And what you think Xerxes did? He sent him there to build it. Because you got to know Nehemiah was showing forth, you know what I'm talking about? He sent forth Nehemiah. You know Nehemiah's story is semblance to the Lord. But you got to look at this. They did not leave out of Babylon in no haste, remembering Yah from afar off. Now did they? So we can't sit there and say that pertained to that time. Because when we left out of Babylon at that time, we did not return to Babylon. Not in no captivity. Anybody got any historical fact to back that up? I try not. I go back to John 16. Everybody all right? All this stuff making sense? Somebody just told a story then. Talking about he ain't seen no other nation besides our people putting on no dresses. Shoot. Now I seen what's his name? Will Ferrell and Jimmy Fallon wore some dresses next to Michelle Obama. White dudes get on TV and put dresses on all the time. Huh? What's that? I mean, it's like this here, man. Hey, man, you know how many movies you done seen? White? Come on, Patrick Swayze was in drag when he did Too Wong Fu with them niggas. Yep, Mrs. Doubtfire. Robin Williams been known to put on a dress. Yeah, I did too when I was young. You know, it was kind of funny. I wouldn't dare watch it now. Because, you know, I ain't no different than anybody else. It didn't really resonate in my mind like this dude got a dress on. He's a faggot. You know what I'm talking about? He just thought it was humorous. You know what I'm talking about? But I knew I'm not going to do it. You got to draw a line somewhere. You got on pantyhose, man. You know what would happen if you walked in the house and seen your son with a bra and your heels on? I wager any man or woman would slap fire from the nigga. You ain't gonna be like, he gonna be the next Tyler Perry. Ain't nobody saying that. Oh, he gonna do the next Big Mama's house. He ain't gonna say that. If a nigga tell me you seen your son dressed up like a woman, you were gonna be cool with that time about you got a movie star on your hand, you telling a lie. Cause I know what's gonna happen. You gonna be like Pac. You know what Pac say? You know any of y'all know the name of the first song on Machiavelli? Any of y'all remember what the first name of the first song on that was? You know what it was? Perry, you remember what the first song on that Machiavelli 7-Day Theory was? No, I'm from that era.
I mean, I probably was going to get that. You know, I just had a big.
What'd you say, Bill? You remember the name of the first song on that Machiavelli 7-Day Theory? Because that's what you would have did. The name of that first song is what you would do to your son if you caught him with your heels or your mama's heels on or her bra on or a dress on. You know what that first song was? Bomb first. That's what you going to do. You know what I'm talking about? As soon as you come through the door, BOOM! I got to hit you in your mouth. I got to hit you in your mouth. Off the rip. Ain't even no talking. Ain't going to be like, son, what you doing? I bomb first when we ride. Boy, I got to go straight across your mouthpiece. That's not cool, man. That's not cool at all. You know what I'm talking about? But hey, man, they like it. I love it. Mark, but no, we just were tripping because Omar Epps had on the skirt on The View the other day. And the fact was, when Dwight first looked at it, how they did the camera when he walked out, you really couldn't tell it was a skirt because the nigga had on stockings. Yes, the nigga had on stockings. Not athletic tights. That nigga had on stockings. You know what I'm talking about? Not compression pants. We know what compression pants. He's an athlete. You know what compression pants is. This nigga had on stockings. That nigga came outside, how they had the camera, it made it look like he had on a suit because he had a suit jacket on. You know what I'm talking about? Dress shirt. And you know he was shamed. I posted the video. Y'all want to see it, y'all go look at it. You know he was shamed because when they asked him to stand up, you know if a nigga had a suit on and it's a clean suit, nigga stand up tall. You know what I'm talking about? Nigga give you the twirl. Just like he said, you stick that leg out so you can see them socks and how they match the shoes. You know what I'm talking about? Everything. When a man when you got a clean tailored suit on and you know it's clean, you make sure somebody see it. He stood up like this here. Yeah. He didn't want nobody to see. Oh, you got on the skirt. And he had on a Move Sun skirt. Y'all know what a Move Sun skirt is? I know some of y'all don't know because some of you women done had one on the time or two. See, that was a song back in the day called Move Sun. You know what I'm talking about? That was one of the bass songs back in the day. You ever heard it before? Get on the floor and move, son. I know Pell done heard it. You know what I'm saying? I'm just showing my age. That's all. You know what I'm talking about? Yeah, he's talking about get on the floor and move, son. Well, see, if you got a move something skirt on, that's a skirt where nigga ain't even got to do too much lifting to get up in you. He ain't even really got to lift nothing up. Because when you got a move something skirt on, that means you trying to move some monkey tonight. Somebody getting lucky. You know what I'm talking about? Straight up. Straight up. That mean that skirt was good and short. I'm talking about you bend over too far, everything out. Yeah, you one of them skirts some girl got to wear, you got to keep pulling it down. If you got to keep pulling your skirt down, you already know it's too short. That's a move son skirt right there. You know what I'm talking about? Straight up and down. That's a move son skirt right there. If I seen a woman with a move son skirt on, I already know right this here. The likelihood of her being a whore is 99.9%. You know what I'm talking about? It's either she's a whore, she's got low self-esteem, she probably ain't got her daddy. You know what I'm saying? Them warning signs. To me anyway, you know what I'm saying? In certain way, if we seen a woman dressed a certain way, them send up red flags. That's sending up like this here. Like dudes get with a woman who dress like that, then they don't want to dress like that when they get with her. Oh, you like it when that bad? I already see. You dress like that, I don't even want you. Not talking about making my old lady dress like a slut. What do I want to be in public with a woman dressed like a slut for? I'm good, I'm straight. I felt like that before the word, man. That's sending up red flags, man. I know too many whores. Man, I went to Eaglewood High School, man. Them girls was whoring at a young age. You know what I'm talking about? Shoot, a lot of them was whoring before we even got to high school. I'm talking about ran through. Just ruined. You know what I'm talking about? Nobody wants you, man. You know what I'm talking about? Nobody don't want nobody the whole football team done ran through. I ain't talking about it separate occasions. I'm talking about that one time. I'm talking about there was one chick we went to school with, the basketball team lined up at her house. It's 12 niggas on the team. And they bringing their friends. You know what I'm talking about? Man, nigga don't want that, man. You know what I'm saying? Like, for real, man, nigga don't want that. Man, I'm sitting here telling y'all, man, that's dead real, though. Man, when we were young, man, we seen a woman dressed like that, we already know what time it is. This is definitely not a woman I want. Nigga don't even want to, you might not even be like that. You remember what that nigga Dave Chappelle said? How you gonna call us a hoe because we got on this here? And he said, hey, if I put on a police officer's uniform and you run up to me talking about, officer, help me. And I'd be like, I'm not the police, but you got on the uniform. What I'm supposed to think? You got on the whole uniform. Why would I not think for you to be a whore? But you got women who think like that. You shouldn't judge me by how I'm dressed. How I'm supposed to judge? All I see is your titties. All I see is your bum. If you bend over just a quarter of an inch, I can see your family goods. You know what I'm talking about? But yet you want me to respect you as a woman. No, that ain't gonna work. There's no difference if I walk down the street with this super tight, slim suit on, you know what I'm talking about? Or them testicle busting skinny jeans on. You gonna look at me and be like, that nigga's a faggot. You know what I'm saying? Same way we see this man Omar Epps with this skirt on. You ain't gonna sit there and be like, shoot, why you gonna call the man gay because he got on a skirt? He might don't like men. What am I supposed to think nigga got on stockings and a skirt? I see a grown man with stockings and a skirt. First thing I'm going to think, that nigga's a pillow-bodied rump ranger. That's the first thing I'm going to think. Straight up. This nigga is out on the range looking for butt. What else am I going to think? You know what I'm talking about? Straight up. If you don't smoke crack, I wouldn't expect you to be in no dope hole. You know what I'm talking about? If I see you going in and out of dope hole, what am I going to think? You shouldn't judge nobody. This nigga keep coming up out the crack hole all night long. He got to be smoking dope. What else is he going in there for? That's just like saying don't judge somebody going in the grocery store. They might not eat food. But what is the nigga going in there? That's how stupid people be. You know what I'm talking about? You shouldn't judge that baby. He might have not pooped on himself. But what he got a diaper on for? Why do they have to repeatedly take it? You know, it's simple stuff. Well, I got to sit it down to certain stuff that I'd be like, come on, cuz, that's stretching. No, that's to show you how stupid people be when they like, you shouldn't judge them like that. What you mean? You dress like a whore, I'm going to think you're a whore. Does that mean you're a whore? No, it doesn't. I'm going to think you one, though, because you dress like one. If you dress like a faggot, I'm going to think you're a faggot. And I'm going to tell you to get the hell away from me. You know what I'm talking about? I don't want that type of energy around me, man. No difference with no whore, male or female. I don't want that type of energy around me, man. You know what I'm saying? That's that nigga have buzz luck, man. Keep your buzz luck behind on somewhere. But look at this John 16:33. Praise the Lord. We get back on point, but the Lord takes us in the direction that he wants to go sometimes. Sometimes he wants y'all to hear stuff. It'll help one of y'all out one of these days. He says, these things have I spoken unto you, that in me you might have peace. And in the world you shall have tribulation, but be of good cheer. I've overcome the world. Now this going back to what we're looking at in Judges 5 about Naphtali and Zebulun. They jeopardized their life. So that means those that dwell in God and who have prevailed with God, see, they willing to jeopardize their life. Revelation 12. Revelation 12 and about verse 9. You got niggas out here talking about there's no Satan, there's no devil. See, people be like this here. The devil don't move nobody to commit no sin. Like as we read before we started by, he said when Peter told them to Ananias and Sephariah, why did Satan conceive this thing in your heart? See, Satan just put stuff in your face. Because he already know that you be wanting to do stuff or that you weak for certain things. He already know you want to do it. So then he put your temptation in your face. So then when you go and do it, he can go back and accuse you to God. Because when you go look at Job, that's what he said about Job. He said, man, look at y'all. If you do this here to him and you do this here to him, I guarantee you, he will curse you to your face. See, and that's how Satan be getting some of y'all, because y'all be wanting to do stuff you ain't got no business, and he get you every single time. Because you be wanting to do it anyway. But nevertheless, he said that great dragon was cast out, that old serpent called the devil and Satan. Now this goes back because Ron just seen this here. And most Hebrews don't consider this here. You don't see where Satan is called Lucifer. You see he's called the dragon, he's called the serpent, and he's called the devil, and he's called Satan. You know what I'm talking about? And when we go back and look, we see a dragon in Daniel 7. We see him called the serpent in Genesis 3. We see him called we see him called Satan in Job 1. The devil is the only time you see him referred to as the devil is when we start to get in Matthew. We don't read in the scriptures anywhere of him being called the devil. Well, yeah, we can't say the scriptures because Matthew is the scriptures too. But we talk about law and prophets, we can't read him being called the devil there. But you go look in Daniel 7, like I said, you go look in Job 1, and you look in Genesis 3, and you'll see him called serpent, Satan, and the dragon. That's what Satan means. It's the adversary. That's what Satan means. And he say, which deceived the whole world. He was cast out into the earth, and his angels were cast out with him. He said, and I heard a loud voice saying in heaven, now is come salvation and strength in the kingdom of our God. See, that's the whole key thing. See, those men who were Zebulon, see, they had salvation and strength because trust in Yah is everlasting strength. Trust in Yah is how you get spirit. Your strength is your faith. That's why he says salvation and strength. They got salvation because they had the spirit. They had strength because they had faith in God. So that's why they were able, Zebulon, for him to abode. And obviously because they had these things, they were able to prevail. He said, in the kingdom of our God and the power of his Messiah. For the accuser of our brethren is cast down, which accused them before our God day and night. And he said, and they overcame him by the blood of the Lamb and by the word of their testimony. And they loved not their lives unto the death. See, some of y'all still love your life. See, that's why we went there, folks, so you can see the correlation in that Judges 5. Because it says Zebulun and Naphtali jeopardized their lives in the high places then. That means they were willing to risk their life under death because they love God. Because when you look at that Judges 5, Deborah is singing a song of praise. Remember, she's a prophetess. So that means she was prophesying of the Lord. That's to show you how stupid people live. They didn't even realize the woman was given the prophecy of the Lord in Judges 5. I know Pale knows it. We've shown you prophecies of that in Judges 5 before, did in other places, in other verses in that, haven't you? You remember, little mother? People willingly offering themselves. Take captivity captive. You've been given dominion. She was prophesying. Because that's what the majority of the songs are. They were songs of praises, but they were still prophecies of the Messiah. See, they had just won a battle. She didn't go. Niggas so stupid. Deborah didn't go fight no battle. She told Barak, didn't the Lord tell you to get up off your butt? You got something to go do. He went and fought the battle. And then she was singing forth the song of praise because of the victory of the battle. And she was prophesying of the Lord. And see, some of y'all still, see, look at Matthew 16. Matter of fact, make it John 12. See, some of y'all still love your life. You know what I'm talking about? See, you see, these men were able to overcome Satan because they didn't love their life, even unto the death. They were willing to lay their life down for the Lord. See, a lot of y'all, that's why y'all ain't willing to do that. That's why you're not going to overcome the man. Because you're not willing to jeopardize your life. You ain't even willing to give up your life as forth as not doing what you want to do, much less laying your life down. John 12:24. He say, truly, truly, I say unto you, except the corn of wheat fall into the ground and die, it abide alone. But if it die, it bring forth much fruit. He that love his life shall lose it. And he that hate his life in this world shall keep it to life eternal. See, them men said they didn't love their own life unto the death. Hebrews 12. See, some of y'all still love your life. He said, y'all don't hate y'all life. That's why you're not going to keep it. You're going to try to save your life, and you're going to lose it. See, them men said we overcame him by the blood of the Lamb, which means he was dwelling in them because he ate his flesh and they drunk his blood, and he abided in them, and they abided in him, and the Lord abided in them as well, which means the Father made his abode in them because they prevailed. Because you can only prevail through the testimony. I'll show you that too. This week going to show you all this here, the Lord permit. Hebrews 12:2. Y'all need to consider this. It says, look unto Yeshua, the author and finisher of our faith, who for the joy that was set before him endured the cross, despising the shame, and then sat down at the right hand of the throne of God. See, none of y'all ain't even looking to the author and finisher of your faith. You're not even looking to Yeshua. You're not looking to him. Because you don't even sit here and you don't even have joy for what you would have to endure for taking up your cross, for the sufferings and persecutions that come with the word. That's not even joyful for you. You don't look at it with joy. You look at it as a burden. Then he said you don't even despise the shame. You don't even care about being shamed for the word. You don't even be killed by it. What did he tell the disciples in John 16? He said some men gonna kill you and think they doing God's service. He said I'm telling you these things that you might not be offended. That's why the Lord told you, blessed are those who are not offended in me. What y'all gonna do when these people come talking about they gonna lock you up for this, man? You gonna lose your life. Some of you niggas gonna be offended. When these people come tell you, you can't speak against homosexuality, you can't speak against pedophilia, you can't speak against eating pork. That's hate speech because you saying what the words say. You're going to be offended when the people come see you. How many of y'all going to be offended? How many of y'all going to be like, I don't know it. I ain't never heard of it. Matter of fact, we'll get to it in a minute. Look at verse 3. For consider him that endures such contradictions of sinners against himself, lest you be wearied and faint in your mind. Ain't none of y'all, and look what he say in verse 4. And you've not yet resisted under blood striving against sin. Y'all, some of you niggas be ready to faint. You ain't even went against shed your own blood not to sin. And some of y'all are ready to faint right now. But guess what he told you in Proverbs? If you faint in the day of adversity, your strength is small. Then you ain't have no faith. Look at Daniel 12.
Yeah, what?
Daniel 12. Daniel 12. Matter of fact, pardon me, it's Daniel 11. Verse 33. He says, make it 32. And as such as do wickedly against the covenant shall he corrupt by flattery. But the people that do know their God shall be strong and do exploits. When this wicked man arrives, he say he gonna corrupt people by flatteries. Y'all know what it means to flatter somebody? That means speak well of. He say, but those who know y'all, they say he gonna be strong and they gonna do exploits. That's why their people was able to overcome him by the blood of the Lamb and by the testimony which they held. They didn't love their life. Look what else he say. And they that understand among the people shall instruct many, yet they shall fall by the sword and by flame, by captivity and by spoil many days. Now when they shall fall, they shall be hoping with a little help. But many shall cleave to them with flatteries. And some of them of understanding shall fall to try them, and to purge, and to make them white, even to the time of the end, because it is yet for a time appointed. So he says some people got to die so they can be proved out, so they can be purified, because he's gonna take them through the furnace of affliction. He says those that have some understanding. See, some of y'all not willing to jeopardize your life. A lot of y'all not willing to lay your life down for the Lord. How many of y'all willing to lay your life down for this man? Can honestly sit here and say, I'll lay my life down for him. I'll be willing to go to jail. I'll be willing to die by the sword. How many of y'all willing to do that? Because them days coming. What y'all gonna do when the days get here? You think the days ain't coming? These niggas be quick to talk about what about the Christian people that's dying in the Middle East. Them niggas died in vain. They died for nothing. They ain't got no reward coming. Because they were serving him in vain, were they not? They weren't serving him in according to the word. So therefore they had no reward. Y'all got to sit there and consider that. You got to sit there and look at it. Deborah done already told you. Zebulon and Naphtali. he that dwell and he that prevail, he said they willing to jeopardize their life. Same thing what John was telling you. Blood and testimony. They willing to jeopardize their life. You got to have that same type of mind. You got to be willing to give your life up, literally. Not just giving your life up from doing your own ways and doing your own doing, but literally lay it down. Literally lay it down. A lot of y'all ain't ready to do that. Go on back to Judges 5. You better get your mind on wanting to do it, or you're going to be in for a rude awakening. We in verse 19. He says, the kings came and fought. Then fought the king of Canaan and Tanakh by the waters of Megiddo. They took no gain of money. Now let's look at you talk about the king of Canaan fight and they ain't take no gain of money. Zephaniah 1. Let's see if we can get some understanding. Y'all all right? Everybody all right? We just trying to get some understanding, y'all. That's all we're trying to do. No. Zechariah 7:9, pardon me, 1 and 14. He says the great day of fact, pardon me, this just hit my mind too. Guess who else used to put on dresses? You know, back in the day during the stage plays, I'm sorry for getting off court. You know, women were not allowed to be in plays, so men had to play all women's roles.
Yep, so it is. I learned about that last semester. Was the last summer I learned about that. Yep.
Every play that they did,
all of them.
All of them. The men played the women's roles. Women were not allowed to be in stage plays. These people been cross-dressing. That just hit my mind. Never hit me. Yeah, he was dude. He was tongue of the dude. He was a mustache kisser. He was.
Togas?
Yeah. We already know. Don't even get me started with the togas. I done told y'all about the togas. Them togas was easy access for buttholes. Yeah, indeed, because it was easy access for buttholes. You know what I'm saying? That's how the Romans and Greeks roll. And then they still have what to this day? Toga party! I ain't have no toga party. He was a faggot. Nigga got a sheet around it so he could overcome his friend to show his friend who's the most manly out of the two. This is what the Greeks rolled with. You showed who was the stronger man by humbling this man in his bum. And you showed him, I'm the stronger guy because I took your butt. This is how these people look this stuff up. I couldn't even make this up if I wanted to. You know what I'm talking about? I couldn't even make this stuff up if I wanted to. If you don't believe me, go look it up. Because this is how I looked when we found out. They say straight up, didn't care except in the mask, except my jaw went way further than his did. Might have went to the center of the earth. Oh yeah, Jim Carrey did wear a dress. I mean, when you sit back and think about it, it's so many people that don't, because you know the reason why, and I understand why that dude said that, because it's so many Israelites and all these Illuminati videos on YouTube and stuff that just solely focus on black men putting on dresses, and man, these white folk been doing it. They been doing it. Where do you think the niggas got the idea from? It's a nigga putting on a dress. That's the only thing funnier than the Caucasian putting on a dress. Let me get this nigga in one. You know what I'm saying? But let me get on this. Say the great day of Yah is near. It is near and haste greatly. Even the voice of the day of Yah, the mighty man shall cry there bitterly. Remember the Lord say, I come quickly. Say it haste. I come quickly. That day is a day of wrath, a day of trouble, a distress, a day of wasteness and desolation, a day of darkness and gloominess, a day of clouds and thick darkness, a day of the trumpet. What happens when the Lord comes by? The trumpet shall be blown. And when that seventh trump get blown, it's going down. I don't know if some of y'all, Ron, let me know if you had a chance, if you ain't been on Facebook, because I know you don't be on it no more, and I don't really blame you. But I tagged you in some videos about things that pertain to some of the weather events that have been going on. So, okay, just making sure you seen. And it says, a day of a trumpet and alarm against the fenced cities, against the high towers. I will bring distress upon men. They shall walk like blind men, because they have sinned against Yah, and their blood shall be poured out as dust, and their flesh as the dung. That means I'm going to pour out blood like dust. Remember, we just read last week about what he's going to do with that blood, man. Man, I'm going to pour your blood out like dust, and I'm going to leave your bodies like poop. He said, neither Neither their silver nor their gold shall be able to deliver them in the day of Yah's wrath, but the whole land shall be devoured by the fire of his jealousy. For he shall make even a spitting riddance of all them that dwell in the land. See, these niggas be like, see, that's talking about Jerusalem. Yeah, he mentions Jerusalem in verse 12. Indeed, he did. He said he'll search Jerusalem with candles and punish the men that are settled on their leave. But we know you can read something in a chapter and he could be talking about 10, 15 different things, right? We all aware of that, right? It's so funny to me that Hebrews be like, you got to take it in context, and they be turning around in the same. You got to write it to divide the word. You got to have enough common sense to know, hey man, yep, Zephaniah was speaking about Jerusalem when he wrote it, but he was talking about the Lord. Because he didn't say nothing about, you can't read nowhere with no Hebrews talking about, y'all take my money. Hebrews don't even think like that. They know when y'all brought that wrath on them, they know why he was bringing it. They know why they were bringing it. But the heathen think they can pay their way. That's why I be telling y'all, if you ain't doing right, I don't want your tithe money. You see how the Lord turn around tithe right back in? Why you think I be telling y'all that? I don't want that. You think that's going to get you out of God's wrath when you walk in contrary? You think if you try to throw some silver and some gold my way? I don't want that. You going to keep that. You got bigger problems. Y'all's wrath on your head. That ain't going to get you out of it. But look what he said. He said, I'm going to make a speedy riddance. I'm going to get you niggas out of here. Quick. Quick. I don't even think some of y'all hear some of that stuff. That don't even put no fear in your heart. That don't even make your heart skip a beat. That don't even make it go just 3 beats faster. They're thinking, boy, I got to get on point. Because when this man come through, he coming. See, I don't know if any of y'all ever seen some real gangsters in your lifetime or heard stories about things that real gangsters undid. But I'm talking about when they come through the neighborhood, niggas be like, boy, I'm gone. You know what I'm talking about? And I'm talking about even dudes who were killers themselves. Like, they ain't scared of them, but they already know. Man, I ain't, because these niggas crazy. When them niggas out there in Pearl World back in the day, you young enough, or you old enough to remember them niggas in Pearl that had that 1020 light tattooed on their hand? There was a whole bunch of niggas back in Pearl, probably about 2001, 2002, man. Niggas had 1020 light tattooed on them. You know what I'm talking about? These niggas was crazy. You know what I'm talking about? To the point where it wasn't that you scared of these niggas, but you know you got to watch them. These boys can let loose at any time. Like, these niggas killing niggas in broad daylight like it's nothing. You know what I'm talking about? They got a problem with a nigga, they catch him, they getting rid of him on the spot. You know what I'm talking about? You already know if you got a problem with these niggas, you got to be on point because they coming. See, for some of y'all that ain't never really dealt with people who been in the street or been in the street, boys, dudes out here, man, when you get in some beef with these dudes, man, they coming. It don't matter if you with your mammy. It don't matter if you with your old lady. It don't matter if you with your children. It don't matter if you at the grocery store. It don't even matter if you at a traffic light. I see you. I catch you. I make you. You know what I'm talking about? Well, that's how the Lord gonna be when he get back here. You ain't right. You've been bucking me. You've been disobeying me. You've been blaspheming against me. I'ma see you. I'ma catch you. I'ma get you out of here. You know what I'm talking about? Because when you're dealing with dudes like that in the street, that gets you on point. Because you got to know. See, that's what I was telling y'all about when the little boy got killed by that white dude. See, that's what happens. See, sometimes dudes be in the streets and they be selling all the people, and they don't be knowing who they be selling out to. Because, see, a lot of people be getting in the beefs and stuff, but they ain't never got in no beef with somebody who really, really about that life. See, it's a whole other thing when you dealing with somebody who playing.
It's like that song, too. That West Beef song.
Yeah. Yeah, what you going to do? You say that's when you let your enemy start the G. Can't roll no less than 40 deep. Because he said, when I see you, you going to ICU. Straight, that's how it goes down. But I know dudes that's like that, though. I've been locked up with dudes who like that. I was in prison with a dude. He said, man, my nigga Keith, dang, I forgot his name just like that. Kilo. But that wasn't his name was Kilo, but Kilo. And we at the spot, man. Dude was over there in work relief. He said, yo, my nigga. I said, what's up, man? He said, you see that dude right there? I said, yeah, I shot that nigga. I said, what? He said, nigga, go ask him. I said, I ain't got to ask him. Just a simple fact, you told me to go ask him. I know you shot him. Because that was bold in itself. To tap me on my shoulder and say, my nigga. And it was great if you were standing right. He said, my nigga, you see that nigga right there? I said, yeah, I shot that nigga. I'm like, what? Go ask him. And when you know one of the niggas with it, they ask him. That nigga said, yeah, he shot me. Because he was like, boy, if I had beef with a nigga, if I caught you and bro, I wouldn't matter. I'm gunning at you. Wow, young nigga. There's a lot of them like that all around this country.
Especially that.
It ain't no different. They in Jacksonville, they in Miami. It's niggas like that in Orlando. It's niggas like that in Atlanta, New Orleans, Chicago, LA, Minneapolis, Dallas, Houston, NYC, Charlotte. It's niggas like that everywhere.
Niggas wild.
Wow. Huh? Yo, we know Detroit, Little Rock, Arkansas, Louisville, Kentucky, Birmingham. It don't make no difference. Jackson, Mississippi. You go anywhere where Oklahoma City. You go anywhere where it's hard times. Anywhere. It don't make no difference. You know what I'm talking about? You'll find somebody who just, what, if I get into it with you, that's why y'all need to be careful who you messing with. That's why you got to watch your mouth and who you be talking to. That's why you got to watch how you talk to people, how you deal with people, because you don't know who you messing with. Nigga might be a stone cold killer. I'm going to tell you, most dudes that killer, they don't look like killers. Or what you think a killer would look like. They could be the most humble, non-assuming individuals you'd ever want to see in your life. That's why it's best for y'all women. Don't be trying to chase after somebody who running in the street, or want to be in the street, or affiliated with the street. Ain't nothing but hard times and pain gonna come to you. You ain't gonna get nothing good from that. That man ain't gonna be able to treat you right. You know what I'm talking about? Straight up and down. It ain't gonna happen. That's why I tell you, man, look here, man. That's how the Lord coming by. That's why he say he coming like a thief, because thief come through and get you. You know what I'm talking about? Lord said, I'm gonna get rid of you niggas. I'm gonna make a speedy riddance of you. We'll go back to Judges 5. I'm real though. Boy, them boys out there in Pearl for that time period, boy, them boys were wild. Where we stop at? By verse 20. I'll read verse 19 again. He said, the kings came and fought, and they bought the kings of Canaan and Tanakh by the waters of Megiddo, and they took no gain of money. They fought from heaven, and the stars in their courses fought against Sisera. The river of Kishron swept them away, that ancient river, the river Kishon. O my soul, thou hast trodden down strength. Then were the horse hoops broken by the means of the prancings, and the prancings of their mighty ones. Now Sisera was who they were fighting. I forget which country he was from. He was from Hasharoth of the Gentiles and all the hosts of Sisera. This was the people who rose up. I think they're from the people of Moab. Let me look back up here. He reigned in Hassor when we look at Judges 4. And he was the captain of whose host was Sisera, which dealt of Hasharoth of the Gentiles. So this was the people they were going to war against Barak. And we know Barak is actually symbolized in Yeshua when we looking at Judges 5. But he said he sat back and they fought from heaven. Let's look at something. Let's look at Matthew 13. And then from Matthew 13, I think we'll go look at Matthew 24. And then from Matthew 24, we'll go to Revelation 19. All these things just popped in my mind, so you can just go ahead and slide you a spot. Each of them locations. Matthew 13, Matthew 24, and Revelation 19. Because he said they fought from heaven. He said, and the stars in their courses. Hold on, let me look back there so we ain't got to go back to Judges 5. We go back to Deuteronomy 33 as soon as we get finished showing forth the points of what we got to see. Pell seen this the other day. There's no denying this here. He said they fought from heaven, the stars in their courses. Then he said he broke their horses. Then he broke their armies, basically. You know what I'm talking about? Let's look what he say here in Matthew 13. Look at verse 38. He said the field was 37. He said he answered and said unto them, he that sowed the good seed is the Son of Man. The field is the world, the good seed are the children of the kingdom, but the tares are the children of the wicked one. The enemy that sowed them is the devil, the harvest is the end of the world, and the reapers are the angels. So I already know, if anybody going to be standing up to fight against the Lord, they got to be the devil. Wouldn't we be able to surmise on that? He says, therefore the tares are gathered and burnt in the fire, so shall it be at the end of the world. The Son of Man shall send forth his angels, they shall gather out of his kingdom all things that offend, and them which do iniquity. And shall cast them into a furnace of fire, and there shall be wailing and gnashing of teeth. Sound like to me, somebody going to be going to war there. So now when we go back and look at Deuteronomy 33, hold this Matthew 13, because this is what we sprung all this out of now. All this out of came just out of Deuteronomy 33, the first verse. All this came out of it. And look at verse 2 now. He said, the man came from Sinai, and he rose up from Seir unto them, and he shined forth from Mount Paran. And he came with 10,000 of his saints. And he said from his right hand a fiery law came from. Now we know who was the right hand. We just read, where's Yeshua sitting? So that would mean he would be that right hand bringing that fiery law in him. Let's go on back on here to Matthew 24 now. Did he say he came with a great light? Would mean he gonna come with glory, would it not? Let's see what he say. Matthew 24. About verse 27. He say, for as the light come out of the east and shine even unto the west, so shall the coming of the Son of Man be. Ain't that what we just heard in the law? Let's see what else to say now. He say, for wheresoever the carcass is, there will the eagles be gathered together. Immediately after the tribulation of those days shall the sun be darkened, and the moon shall not give her light, and the stars shall fall from heaven, and the powers of heaven shall be shaken. And then shall appear the sign of the Son of Man in heaven. And then shall all the tribes of the earth mourn. And they shall see the Son of Man coming in the clouds of heaven with power and great glory. Ain't that what Moses wrote ahead down? Moses had already told you. And he said he was coming with 10,000 of his saints. Didn't he just say he was coming with angels? Let's see what Jude say. Let's just see if Jude tell us the same thing. The epistle letter right before Revelation. What you looking for? Oh, understandable. One might sit on the floor and eat something. Who knows? Jude 1 and 14. See what it says. And Enoch also, the seventh from Adam, prophesied of these saying, behold, the Lord come with 10,000s of his saints to execute judgment upon all, and to convince all that are ungodly among them of all their ungodly deeds which they have ungodly committed, of all their hard speeches which ungodly sinners have spoken against them. These are murmurers, complainers, walking after their own lust, and their mouths speak great swelling words, having men's persons in admiration because of advantage. So now we got Jews sitting here telling us the same thing of what Moses had already gave us an inkling to. That this man is coming back with 10,000 of his saints. Now let's look at Revelation 19 and let's see what John wrote. Y'all see all this? Y'all all right? All this making sense, y'all? All this stuff tying together? Y'all see how you see the power of our God? You see why it's important that we go through this book and that we know these things? Because there's people out here, they don't know these things. And it ain't because necessarily that they so intrinsically such bad people. It's just they don't care to know, or they ain't been sent, and they be running their mouth, and they don't know what they're talking about. Revelation 19 and 11. And I saw heaven open, and behold, a white horse. And he that sat upon him was called Faithful and True. And in righteousness he doth judge and make war. Any of y'all know which tribe name means judge? Huh? Yes, that is. That is Dan. So he just told you he come to Dan and make war. And you had already went through something earlier in the week. We already know. The law tells us in Exodus 15 and 3, y'all's a man of war. And guess what? YESHUA come from the seed of David, right? What was David? He was a warrior. And guess who else was a warrior? Abraham was a warrior. Remember, he led a slaughter before he came up to Melchizedek, didn't he? He had just came from going to war. Came back from a mass slaughter. He says his eyes were as a flame of fire, and on his head were many crowns, and he had a name written that no man knew but he himself. And he was clothed with a vesture dipped in blood, and his name is called the Word of God. And the armies which were in heaven followed him upon white horses, clothed in fine linen, white and clean. Now you can go look at Job 38 and 7, where it called the angels morning stars, day stars. And we dealt with the day star thing a while back. Not on the Lucifer tip, but just showing forth what our angels was forth, as he say, and the children that y'all have given me are for signs. Going back to Genesis 1, and Daniel 12, and Matthew 13. I don't remember what video it's on. I don't even know if it got recorded. Maybe we'll go back and rehearse it at another time. Maybe we won't. But we ain't doing it tonight. But you see how that went back to that Judges 5? And they say the stars was in their courses and they came to heaven to fight? Because Barak ain't come from no heaven to fight nobody. He didn't have no angels with him fight nobody. Look what else he say. And out of his mouth go a sharp sword, that it should smite the nations. And he shall rule them with a rod of iron. And he shall tread the winepress of the fierceness and the wrath of the Almighty God. And he hath on his vesture and on his thigh name written, King of Kings and Lord of Lords. Listen to what it say now. Drop down to verse 19. He said, and I saw the beast, and the kings of the earth, and their armies, gathered together to make war against them that sat on the horse and against his army. Because that's what it was talking about. It didn't say the kings and Canaan and Tanakh came to make war against this man. He said, and the beast was taken, and with him the false prophet that wrought miracles before him, which he deceived them that received the mark of the beast, and them that worship his image. These were both cast alive into a lake of fire burning with brimstone. And the remnant were slain with the sword of him that sat upon the horse, which sword proceeded out of his mouth, and all the fowls were filled with their flesh. Sound like to me, he say he broke their mighty ones with their prances, because he say all those that were left, he killed every last one of these niggas. And you know how he said a fiery law come with him from Moses? Because he told you in Isaiah, he said with fire and his sword, he going to plead with all flesh. Because what he coming up to, he going to burn it up. That's why he said he coming with a fiery law. Because we just dealt with that fire, didn't we? So I got to take you through affliction. He said if it's burnt up and you still left, you'll be saved. But if ain't nothing left, you in trouble. See, when that law come to apply you, to try you, to bring you through the furnace, how many of y'all going to be left? Look at 1 Corinthians 3. 1 Corinthians 3 and about verse 14. So verse 13. He said, every man's work shall be made manifest, for the day shall declare, because it shall be revealed by fire, and the fire shall try every man's work of what sort it is. When the law comes, he's going to try to see what work it is. Because he told you his reward is with him, to give every man according to his work shall be. This is not, and that's what he said. He said, if a man's work abide, which he hath built thereon, he shall receive a reward. If any man's work shall be burnt, he shall suffer loss, but he himself shall be saved, yet so as by fire. So guess what? You better hope if you get burnt, you suffer a loss of the work you put in, but you be saved if he try you by fire, meaning you done kept this man's word. See, a lot of y'all going to get tried by fire. You ain't going to just suffer no loss of your work. You're going to lose your life. But let's go back to Deuteronomy 33, though. Deuteronomy 33 and 3. See how this pertains to the Lord. We started off and read it, but let's see how this pertains to the Lord. Yeah, and you know me being crazy thinking that if we could actually really go through this entire chapter spot by spot and show this man out of here. That was just an insane thought. Wasn't that much. I'm talking about being able to do it tonight though. Deuteronomy 33 and 3. He said, yea, he loved the people. All his saints are in thy hand, and they sat down at thy feet. Every one shall receive of thy words. So let's look at this here. Let's see how he loved his people. Let's look at John 13 and 1. And let's look at how all his saints is in his hand. John 13 and 1. Let's look what he say now. He said he loved the people. He said, now before the feast of Passover, when YESHUA knew that his hour was come, that he should depart out of the world unto the Father, having loved his own, which were in the world. And he loved them unto the end. Because he said he loved the people now. John 15. Verse 10. He said, if you keep my commandments, you shall abide in my love, even as I have kept. We'll make it verse 9. As the Father hath loved me, so have I loved you. Continue ye in my love. If you keep my commandments, you shall abide in my love. That's the key thing. If you want to abide in God's love, you got to obey. Even as I've kept my Father's commandments, abide in his love. These things have I spoken unto you, that my joy might remain in you, and that your joy might be full. The joy of Yah is your strength. You should have joy in YESHUA, to delight to do his will. That should be joyful to you. This is my commandment, that you love one another as I have loved you. Greater love have no man than this, that a man lay his life down for his friends. See, that goes back to the scriptures, that the Messiah shall be cut off, but not for himself. So he loved the people enough to die for him. He loved the people enough to die for him. Then he just sat here and told you all the saints in his hand. Let's see if all the saints in his hand. 16th chapter of the very same book of John. That was her. Oh, her nose stopped up my foot. She didn't like it to talk this. You might have two stinks. That's how the big stink is. Verse 5. 17th chapter of John, pardon me. 17. Pardon the error. He said, now, O Father, glorify thou me with thy own self, with the glory which I had with thee before the world was. I have manifested thy name unto the men which thou gave me out of the world. Thine they were, and thou gave them me, and they have kept thy word. Now they have known that all things whatsoever thou hast given me are of thee. For I have given unto them the words which thou gavest me, and they have received them, and they have known surely that I came out from thee, and they have believed that thou didst send me. He said, I pray for them. I pray not for the world, but for them which thou hast given me, for they are thine. And all mine are thine, and thine are mine, and I am glorified in them. He said, and now I am no more in the world, but these are in the world, and I come to thee, Kodesh Father. Keep through thy own name those whom thou hast given me, that they may be one as we are. So now as we sit down back and look at Deuteronomy 33 and 3, he said all his saints are in his hand. So then he just put all those that belong to the Father in his hand. Because he loved the people to lay his life down for them. And that's going right back to what we looked in Judges 5, because Yahshua was willing to jeopardize his life because the Father abode in him and he prevailed. So you have to sit back and able to look at that. If you want this man to love you and for you to abide in his hand, you're going to have to be willing to jeopardize your life. You're going to have to love this man so he can abide in you. You're going to have to be able, let's look at how you're going to overcome. 1 John 5 and 4. Huh? You all right tonight, Jim Dan? I seen you went and got your nap. No? I'm looking at a dog right now. Now, I know he's pretty sick. That thing's old. 1 John 5 and 4. For whatsoever is born of God overcome the world, and this is the victory that overcome the world, even our faith. This is why Yahshua was able to overcome. He know he was begotten of the Father. And when you begotten of the Father, you know you can do all things through him. And see, this is supposed to be our faith. This is supposed to be our hope. We're supposed to believe and trust in that. That's why some of y'all won't be born of God, nor will you overcome, because you don't believe it. That's why when we looked at John 16, he said, do you believe me now? I said, how many more times we going to have to sit here and go through this book to take for some of y'all to believe the man's words? How much longer? How many more weeks? How many more Sabbaths we going to have to go through before it finally clicks? Yah is the truth. Yahshua is the truth. The living God of Abraham and Isaac is the truth. I ought to do what he said. I ought to believe in his promises. I ought to seek his face diligently. How long is it going to take? How long is it going to take for you to decide to stop resisting and doing what it is that you want to do, and stop trying to find ways to shortcut or find ways to get over on God and just give yourself up completely? How many more Sabbaths is it going to take? Is you going to wait till you dead and then it's too late? Or you going to wait till he coming back and you seeing all types of wrath coming down and then you going to want to do right? Then it's going to be too late then. The man say, while today is still today, hearken unto his voice, before your heart be hardened through the evil heart of unbelief from departing from the living God. Don't think you can commit one sin and you ain't going to put another one on top of that now. And then you think you ain't going to put another one on top of that. If you know what you're supposed to be doing and you know you ain't did it yet, handle it. Don't hesitate with it. Don't procrastinate with it. Don't put it off and say, I'm going to do this here or do this here. Just handle it. It's so much easier than to handle it than to be kicking the can down the road. Because when you kick the can down the road, you know what that's really telling me? You don't want to deal with it. You know what I'm talking about? But you know what happens when you kick the can down the road? One day it's all that bill going to be due. And when that bill due, it's too late then. Verse 5. He say, for who is he that overcome the world but he that believes that Yahshua is the Son of God? See, a lot of y'all ready to get baptized or want to get baptized in your own mind. You don't even believe this man the Son of God, and you show forth that in your actions. If you're going to overcome, you have to believe. All this is for a reason when we get down here to verse about 6 in Deuteronomy 33. Go back to Deuteronomy 33. All this going to make sense about he that believes that Yahshua is the Son of God. All that going to make sense in a minute. I promise it will. If the Lord be so gracious, it'll make sense in a minute. Verse 4 is where we at. He said, Moses commanded us a law, even the inheritance of the congregation of Jacob. We just read where Yahshua said, if you want to abide, and he said, you want to do my commandment, love each other as I love you. You already know he gave us a law, because the whole law is speaking to him. And we know he gave us an inheritance. Y'all know what that inheritance is? Matthew 19. Let's see what that inheritance is. Matthew 19 and 29. Then we'll look at Luke 12. And 1 Peter 1 just come to mind. Matthew 19:29. He said, everyone that hath forsaken houses, or brethren, or sisters, or father, or mother, or wife, or children, or lands, for my name's sake shall receive 100-fold and shall inherit everlasting life. There go your inheritance right there to the sons of Jacob. And you see what he said he was willing to do? Some people were willing to leave where they lived at, the lands where they were at, their family members, their friends, their children. All of them was willing to abandon whatever to receive inheritance 100-fold in heaven. A lot of y'all not willing to abandon nothing. You trying to hold on to this, you trying to hold on to that, not knowing that the living God is in complete control of every single solitary situation in your life. That you can think something up in your mind that you're going to do this here, but you know what the Lord going to do? He ain't going to let you be able to do it because you ain't doing it according to his will or what he want done. And he'll block it. Because you thinking, well, I'm keeping the commandments, so the Lord going to do this here for me. Not if he told you to go do something else. Not if he wants you to be over here and do this. You know what I'm talking about? You don't seen that happen before, little mother? People thinking that I'm going to go do this over here, but that ain't what the Lord wanted you to do. I got something for you. Because you know what's going to happen? You can buck the Lord and try to go your own way, he cut you off. You know what I'm talking about? Because the man ain't going to play with you. God done told y'all this before, and I'll tell you again. He'll Queen Vashti you, man. The king called for Vashti, she didn't come. He kept calling for her. She didn't come. He said, you know what? I'm going to just get rid of her, and I'll get me Esther, because Esther going to come, and Esther going to do whatever I ask her to do. Whatever I instructed, did everything the king asked Esther to do, she did it. So you know what happened? The king was willing to hearken to Esther. Esther's obedient. See, Queen Vashti wasn't obedient. I get rid of this slut. And when I'm talking about a harlot. Because remember, he said in Jeremiah 3, you got a whore's forehead. You refuse to be ashamed. Some of y'all got whore's foreheads. You refuse to be ashamed of the stuff you're doing. And I ain't talking about crying and sad because you've been doing wrong, then you turn around and do back the same thing. Because that's still showing a whore's forehead, because that means you stubborn. You know what I'm talking about? See, that's the difference between when he talk about a whore. You don't necessarily have to be a whore by spreading your legs to everybody that passed by. Though when he was referring to Israel, that's because that's what Israel was doing. She was laying with every god that passed by. Anybody who could want it, they could get it. You know what I'm talking about? And then she refused to even be ashamed of what she was doing. She thought I wasn't doing nothing wrong. How many hoes you done seen that there? It's a script. Matter of fact, look at Proverbs 30. I show it to you. We get to Luke 12. Huh? You all right over there, Jim Dandy? Read it in the book, put them germs in there. You're going to get somebody sick when they open it up, want to read out of it. Let me find this at. Is it 31? Oh, it ain't 31. Oh, there it is. Proverbs 30 and about verse 18. It says, there be three things which are too wonderful for me. Yea, four, which I know not. He said, these three things, they say they too great for me. And he said, in this four, I don't even know nothing about it. This is what he said. He said, the way of the eagle in the air. The way of a certain upon a rock. The way of a ship in the midst of the sea, and the way of a man with a maid. He said, when he say a man with a woman, he said that's too wonderful for him, and I don't know nothing about it. But look what else he said. He said, such is the way of an adulterous woman. She eat and wipe her mouth, and say, I have done no wickedness. See, that's what happened with Israel, and that's what a lot of whores women, even some men. He said they sit there, she said, eat, I ain't did nothing wrong. How many of y'all done met a woman do something like that? Sit there and do all manner of evil and look you straight in the face and say, I ain't did nothing. That's a whore's forehead. Refuse to be ashamed. Can't even acknowledge your iniquity. Alrighty then. I hope that was the talk. Because if not, you're a little too old to be passing wind like that there, buddy. Luke 12. No, that was the dog. Dogs fart too. Man, I was trying to give a credit. I wasn't even thinking about the baby. I forgot the baby was in the room. Yeah, sounds like a baby fart though. Well, I gotta be retarded. Dogs fart. Yeah, I forgot the baby was in here. She's usually not in here, buddy. No, that was you. You were a queefer. Luke 12 and 31. You were a queefer. You queef there, buddy? Yeah, at least I don't queef. Luke 12 and 31. But rather seek ye the kingdom of God, and all the things shall be added unto you. Fear not, little flock, for it is your Father's good pleasure to give you the kingdom. This is your inheritance. And look what the Lord tells you. Sell that you have, and give alms, and provide yourselves bags which wax not old, a treasure in the heavens that fail not, where no thief approach, neither moth corrupt. For where your treasure is, there will your heart be also. A lot of y'all treasure on this earth. A lot of y'all so worried about this, that, that, and the other, and you're not in heaven. That's why you're not going to get no inheritance. That's why you're not going to get no inheritance. 1 Peter 1. Because the man say his inheritance is with his saints, those that abide in his law, those that are his, he got an inheritance from them. A lot of y'all ain't got no inheritance in heaven. 1 Peter 1 and 2. We can't be like this. After a while, you got to just be sick and tired of being sick and tired. You got to be tired of being a fool. He say, elect according to the foreknowledge of God the Father, through sanctification of the Spirit, unto obedience. You see this whole key thing? Sanctification of the Spirit unto obedience. You're supposed to be set apart to obey. And not no begrudgingness either. See, because God don't want nobody coming to him begrudgingly. You should be doing it willingly. Like I said, joyful. True worshipers of God serving the Spirit and truth. And the sprinkling of the blood of Yahshua the Messiah, grace unto you and peace be multiplied. Blessed be the God and Father of our Lord Yahshua the Messiah, which according to his abundant mercy hath begotten us again unto a lively hope by the resurrection of Yahshua the Messiah from the dead, to an inheritance incorruptible, undefiled, that fade not away, reserved in heaven for you. Your inheritance is in heaven. Your inheritance is New Jerusalem. It's in heaven. Your inheritance is a new glorified body, like unto the angels, which will quicken you to everlasting life. That's what your inheritance is. So if you notice what you're supposed to inherit, and all you have to do is believe and obey, why are you not doing necessary to get your inheritance? If somebody told you if you could get a $10 million inheritance if you did certain worldly things, some of you niggas would be moving quick, fast, and in a hurry. You'll do everything possible to make sure you get that $10 million check deposited in your account. Some of you niggas don't even want to put it in your account. Some of you be like, man, I want mine in cash in 20s and 50s. Unmarked bills. You just want to walk out this place with briefcases. You know what I'm talking about? Or a big old duffel bag. Just sit in the house and just look at it. You know what I'm talking about? But you don't have that same type of mind when it comes to y'all wonder why the Lord don't let certain things happen for you or certain things go your way how you want it to go? Because you're rebellious, because you're stubborn, because you're disobedient, because you're unbelieving, because you think you're slick. You know what I'm talking about? You think he don't see what you're doing? You around here living a double life. You around here pretending. And the man is like this here. Till you get right, you still got stuff in your heart. And he said, till you get right, I ain't doing nothing for you, nigga. I'll let you keep getting in word, and I'm going to keep beating you across your head with it till you get the point, but I'm not going to move in your favor till you move in my favor. See, we want the Lord to move in our favor, but we don't want to move in his favor by doing what he says. This is a simple thing to trust in God. That's the hindrance for many, many people. We shouldn't be like that considering the type of information he allows us to receive. We shouldn't be like that. Back to Deuteronomy 33. We shouldn't be to the point, I don't know yet. Where we at here? We in verse 5. He said he was king in Jeshurun when the heads of the people and the tribes of Israel were gathered together. Because we know what Yahshua is going to be. Because Jeshurun is another word for Jacob or for Israel. You know what I'm talking about? And he said that he was king in Jeshurun when the heads of the people and the tribes of Israel gathered together. You think Yahshua ain't going to be king when all the people gather together when we just read about him gathering the people up? What is he going to be? We just read the man got king of kings, lord of lords, and he got many crowns on his head, which is going back to with David. When David conquered all the nations, you know what he had on his head? Multiple crowns. From all the nations that he conquered. Why you think the Lord got all these crowns? These people got to give up their kingdoms. Look at verse 6. He say, let Reuben live and not die, and let not his men be few. Anybody know what Reuben's name means? Let's see what Reuben's name means, y'all. Let's look at Genesis 29. Do you remember what? We never really dealt with Reuben out loud, though. You gonna cough on the baby over there? Cough on new mother? 29 and 32. Make it 31. Genesis 29 and 31. And it says, and when Yah saw that Leah was hated, he opened her womb, but Rachel was barren. Leah conceived and bare a son, and she called his name Reuben. For she said, surely Yah hath looked upon my affliction. Now therefore my husband will love me. So now it says that Reuben names means God looked upon his affliction. And it says, let Reuben live and not die. Did God look upon the affliction of the Lord? Let's see if he looked upon the affliction of the Lord. Let's look at Hebrews 5. And let's see did he live and not die. And see if his men ain't going to be few. Hebrews 5, verse 7. He said, who in the days of his flesh, when he offered up prayers and supplications with strong crying and tears unto him that was able to save him from death, and was heard, and that he feared. And though he were a son, yet he learned obedience by the things which he suffered. And being made perfect, he became the author of eternal salvation unto all them that obey him. So it sounds like to me he let Reuben live, and Reuben didn't die, did he? And now he said, not his men be few. Because he said, as many sons going to be called unto glory. So we can look at Revelation 7 and see that. He said he's seen a great multitude of many nations that couldn't even be numbered. Look at Revelation 7, just so y'all just saying, that off the top of my head. We tied all in now. Revelation 7 and 9. He said, after this I beheld, and lo, a great multitude, which no man could number, of all nations, and kindreds, and people, and tongues, stood before the throne, before the Lamb, clothed with white robes and palms in their hands. If they had white robes on, that means they had their wedding garments on them. They had that fine linen, clean and white, which is the righteousness of the saints. They were covered with the Lord. He said, I put righteousness on as a robe. Because you know why they were able to put righteousness on as a robe? Because they were willing to go through affliction, and God loved them for it. See, the Father loved the Son because the Son was willing to suffer. Said it pleased Yah to bruise him and take him through the furnace of affliction. The Messiah said it behooved him to suffer. He said it's written that it behooved me to suffer. And we just been dealing with it for the last couple of weeks. Don't none of y'all want to put on the sufferings of the Messiah so you can get your white robe. Because he said, what did Reuben name this mean? He said, now y'all gonna love me then. He said, if you abide in my Father's commandments, he gonna love you like he loved me. And don't you think the Father's commandment was for YESHUA to suffer? Then we just read it. He said, if you take on the Messiah's sufferings, you blessed. So it would make common sense that to be able, you're gonna live and not die if you take that man's sufferings on, because you're gonna be able to live forever. Because you're going to be able to be made perfect. Because you're going to be able to receive the Spirit. And look what they sitting there crying with that loud voice. And they cried with a loud voice, saying, salvation to our God will sit upon the throne and unto the Lamb. Because it's a simple fight. The man said, let Reuben live and not die. And let not his men be few. Sounds like to me his men ain't few right there. It might be few relative to all the people that's ever lived that's going to come to that throne. But guarantee you, that ain't a little bit of people. He said you couldn't even number. Did he poop on you again? Oh, go back to Deuteronomy 33. We're in verse 7. It's going to take too long. It's a little after 11. We might ride for a little bit longer. Deuteronomy 33 and 7. He says, this is the blessing of Judah. He says, hear Yah, the voice of Judah, and bring him unto his people. Let his hands be sufficient for him, and be thou a help to him from his enemies. Now he just said, it's the blessing of Judah that you should hear Yah, the voice of Judah. This man say that Judah is the voice of God. He said you should hear the voice of Judah. Who is the voice of Judah? Just for clarification's sake. Look at the 18th chapter of Deuteronomy. Let's see who the voice of Judah is. Deuteronomy 18. 18 and 18. Matter of fact, make it verse 15. He said, Yah thy God will raise up unto thee a prophet from the midst of thee of thy brethren, like unto me, and unto him shall ye hearken, according to all that thou desire of Yah thy God in Horeb in the day of the assembly, saying, let me not hear again the voice of Yah my God, neither let me see this great fire any more, that I die not. So when the people heard the voice of Yah speaking to him on the mountain, they said, we don't want to hear him no more lest we die. So you know what he said? I'm going to send my son. I'm going to let him talk to him. He said, and Yah said unto me, They have well spoken that which they have spoken. I will raise them up a prophet from among their brethren like unto thee, and will put my words in his mouth, and he shall speak unto them all that I command him. And it shall come to pass that whosoever will not hearken unto my words which he shall speak in my name, I will require it of him. So this man says straight up and down, he said, hear Yah, the voice of Judah. Judah means praise. We know YESHUA came forth to show forth the praise of God. How did he show forth the praise of God? Because he obeyed God. That's how y'all going to show forth the praise. He said, he that glorified me, he said, he that offered praise glorified me. And he that ordered his behavior right, I'll show you the salvation of God. So if you want YESHUA to show you forth the salvation, if you want to offer praise to God, offer yourself as a living sacrifice like the man told you. That's all you got to do. Offer your body as a living sacrifice. This is your reasonable service. This is not without reason. This is not overboard. That's all you got to do. But then the man say, if you're not going to hearken to him, he going to require it of you. John 12, verse 47. It could be 46. John 12 and 47. He said, if any man hear my words and believe not, I judge him not, for I come not to judge the world, but to save the world. See, that's different. When he came the first time, he wasn't coming to judge, he was coming to save. But when he come back the second time, he coming without sin under salvation. He coming broke to bring judgment when he come back here. He said, he that reject me and receive not my words have one that judge him. The word that I have spoken, the same shall judge him in the last day. Sound like what he said, I'm going to require it of men. Because look what he finna tell him. For I have not spoken of myself. But the Father when sent me, he gave me a commandment of that which I should say and what I should speak. And I know this commandment is life everlasting. Whatsoever I speak therefore, even as the Father said unto me, so I speak. So if you don't want to hear him, you're not hearing the Father. You're not hearing the voice of Judah, which means you're not hearing Yah, which means you got a problem. Because see, look at Proverbs 8. Proverbs 8 and 34. Keep it simple. We ain't going to read all the other spots. Just going to read this part right here. Look what he says. Blessed is the man that hear me, watching daily at my gates, waiting at the post of my door. We already started out earlier before we went live. That Luke 12 about you waiting on him, right? You heard this man say, blessed is the man that hears his voice. We just read the other day when he said in John 18, everyone that's of the truth hears his voice. He said, my sheep hear my voice, right? And they follow me then. And we already done seen that now he spoke to us in times past by the prophets. He said, but now he speaks to us by his son. So this man said, you need to hear the voice of Judah. Why some of y'all not hearing the voice of Judah? You say, you know why you ain't hearing the voice of Judah? Because just like he said in John 10, he said, you're not of my sheep as I have told you. Look at John 10 and 25. Because when you hear God's voice, don't you think you would move? I think you would move. That's just my personal opinion. I could be wrong. John 10 and 25. YESHUA answered them, I told you and you believe not. The works that I do in my Father's name, they bear witness of me. But you believe not because you are not of my sheep, as I said unto you. My sheep hear my voice, and I know them, and they follow me. And I give unto them eternal life, and they shall never perish. Neither shall any man pluck them out of my hand. Sound like he got them saints in his hand again, don't it? What we heard Deuteronomy 33 as well, didn't it? Sound like he hold. You see how this whole, I don't even see how dude be meant. That's why I be tripping. Dude be swearing up and down, man. That's not talking about YESHUA. That's not talking about YESHUA. And the only thing I can tell him is, you absolutely right. You absolutely right. You so right. Because you're not of his sheep. You don't hear his voice. Because if you was of God, you're going to hear God's word. That man said everyone that's of the truth hears his voice, right? So everyone that's of the light, everyone that's of the true light, everyone that's of God is going to hear God. The reason you ain't hearing because you're not a God. So when you hear the man, whatever it is that you're doing, whatever it is you're trying to do, whatever it is you're scheming to do, you leave it alone. You leave it alone. Whatever direction the man telling you to go, you would go. Whenever you hear the testimony of the Lord, you would believe it. Not because I say it, but because the scripture saying it, because he's telling you. Know who's talking to you. You know what I'm talking about? I don't think people realize who's talking to him. Because he's just fulfilling what the scripture said. The scripture say, hey, y'all said y'all didn't want to hear me. The Father said, y'all spoke well. He said, you know what? I'm going to send my son. You're going to hear him, though. You know what I'm talking about? That's what people get it twisted on. Oh, God is my teacher. But we just read right there. He said, man going to have to teach them. Because we already know Yeshua sent out men to do the work for him. The man told you to pray the Lord of the harvest. He sent laborers into his harvest. Because the harvest is plentiful, but the laborers are few. But all these niggas like, the Lord teaches me. He's my teacher. See, all we need is the Ruach, bro. That's our teacher. Nigga, you was an idiot. You know what I'm talking about? You was a straight idiot. Because let's see how you going to be able to hear. Romans 10. I think about verse 13. Niggas just be saying stupid stuff. Niggas just like Perry. They hear one nigga say it, they say it. Romans 10 and about verse 14. Make it 11. Matter of fact, make it about verse 8. Romans 10 and 8. This ain't nothing, some of these verses here. You done heard them before, just in a different fashion, on a different topic, and then he spin it again and bring it back to you and work it in a different way. He say, but what saith it? The word is nigh thee, even in thy mouth and in thy heart. That is the word of faith which we preach. See, like this here. He say the word ain't far from you. This going back to the law. He ain't doing nothing but quoting the law. The word ain't far from you. It's right here in your heart. This is the word of faith that we preach. The just live by their faith. He says that if thou shalt confess with thy mouth the Lord Yeshua and shalt believe in thy heart that God raised him from the dead, thou shalt be saved. See, this is the key thing. Y'all want to be baptized, but do you believe this man is the Lord according to the scriptures and that God raised him from the dead? Because then you can believe. Because then you'll be willing to die so you can be raised up walking in the newness of life, ceasing from sin. There's no way in the world you're going to want to be dipped in that water. You don't believe that. So y'all thinking, oh, I get baptized, I'm straight. No, nigga, you ain't straight. If you wasn't straight before you got in it. He said, for with the heart man believe unto righteousness, and with the mouth confession is made unto salvation. Because obviously if you believe it, that gives you the righteousness of faith. The righteousness of Abraham. And then obviously you're going to be able to be saved. If you say it out your mouth, you believe. Remember, this is going back how you overcome the world. This is the word of, this is our faith. Who is he that overcome the world but he that believe Yeshua is the Son of God? We sit here going through the Deuteronomy 33 and we touch Judges 5. Do y'all believe he's the Son of God from what we heard just on that? Not even talking about any other information we done heard in time past. Little Mother, would you be able to believe, hey, it's quite possible this man is the Son of God from what you just heard tonight? I'm talking about, I don't see how dudes see it and don't believe it. I know how they don't believe it. You know what I'm talking about? I know how they don't see it, but y'all understand what I'm saying. He say, for the scriptures say, whosoever believe on him shall not be ashamed. Why some of y'all still walk around here ashamed, but yet y'all say y'all believe on the Son of God, but you still around here looking ashamed? Because you're not living right. You got to understand, you can confess it with your mouth, but then that confession with your mouth needs to bring forth the obedience. It needs to bring forth the obedience. What was that was? You remember what that was we was reading about that? Where he just said something about obedience? I know we just read it. I done forgot it just that fast. He might bring it back to mind a little bit. Nevertheless. He said, for there is no difference between the Jew and the Greek, for the same Lord over all is rich unto all that call upon him. For whosoever shall call upon the name of the Lord shall be saved. How then shall they call on him whom they have not believed? This is why we're trying to set it up to where when you call on this man, you can be saved, and therefore you can be heard, so you can hear the man and believe on him. And how shall they believe on him whom they have not heard? And how shall they hear without a preacher? This is the key thing why the Lord trying to set you up before you get baptized so you can get the information for you to believe. It don't make no sense. Y'all just think, oh, I believe, but you ain't never heard of the man. Y'all can sit there and think about all the times y'all was in other congregations in your lifetime and you were baptized and you find out your baptism was really for nothing because you never heard of the man. You never heard of the man. And hey, don't get upset about the time that you wasted. Just thank the Lord he gave you opportunity to get it right. It's something, because some of y'all young. It's people who've been going to church long as y'all been alive and not getting to know what y'all getting to know. Some of them get here and they reject it. And he says, how shall they preach except they be sent, as is written, how beautiful are the feet of them that preach the gospel of peace and bring glad tidings of good things. He said, but they have not all obeyed the gospel. For Isaiah saith, Yah, who have believed our report. So you see that key thing coming back in that obedience. See, you hear the report of Yahshua, but you not believing it because you not obeying. When you hear the report of Yahshua, this should move you to obey it because you can see that this man really laid his life down for you. He laid his life down for you. And the least you can do is lay yours down for him. He says, so then faith come by hearing, and hearing by the word of God. So the only way you're going to be able to get faith is to hear. And the only way you're going to be able to hear is by the word. And a lot of y'all hearing the word, why you don't believe? Your faith should motivate your actions. That's all James was telling you when he told you faith without works is dead. Let's go back to Deuteronomy 33. They're cracked pretty hard there, buddy. Little creakiness in those knees there. Look what he said. Verse 7. This is the blessing of Judah, and he said, hear y'all the voice of Judah, and bring him unto his people, and let his hands be sufficient for him, and be thou a help to him from his enemies. Wasn't y'all's hands sufficient for him? Because wasn't he a help to him from his enemies? He delivered him from his enemies, didn't he? When he brought him out that grave. When he brought him out that grave. You think he didn't help him from those that hated him? Because all the people who delivered him up, didn't they hate him? But the Father saw fit to be sufficient for him and deliver him from the hand of his enemies. And you have to sit there and understand that the Lord will deliver you from your enemies, whether it be in this world or the world to come. Our God is the God of salvation. How many times y'all done read in this book where they call him the God of salvation? Or when you see that, oh, the God of my salvation. He is a God that, do y'all know what YESHUA name means? Do you know what it means so much? Nicole, Ron, Brittany, Mouse, do y'all know what YESHUA name means? Do y'all know what it means? So if you got to sit there and say that this man's name means Yah saves, Yah salvation, you need to sit there and understand that your God is a God of salvation. Allah is not a God of salvation. Buddha is not a God of salvation. Krishna is not a God of salvation. Neither is Horus or Tammuz or Bacchus or any Zeus or any other deity that these people serve and worship. But yet by his tender and loving mercies, he saw fit to choose this people, the offspring of Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob, and let us know from the time of Abraham that he is a God that saves. See, that was the direction that he had in my mind to go in for us to deal with tonight, till he presented Deuteronomy 33 to me a little bit before Dwight came to get me, that he wanted y'all to see this here. And Lord permit, we'll get to that there too. But y'all got to understand something. You have a God who is the God of salvation. There is no other God that is called gods under the heaven or on earth that is called a God of salvation. Have y'all heard of any God that was attached to their name? Other than the living God whose name is Yah? And then he manifested that salvation through his son? See, I think more than likely he'd probably have us deal with that with Passover, around Passover time, if not before. Who knows? He knows. Let the Lord will be done. But you serve the God of salvation. So knowing that this man is able to save you from your enemy, you need to put your whole trust and movement and thought pattern into serving him. Nicole just told you, I told her something on something about pertaining to a job. The Lord showed her just that quick. I made something happen. Just to show you. He just did that just to show you. I'm in complete control. I can touch these people to do anything. This man said, if you return to me with your whole heart and your whole mind and your whole soul, this man said, I will touch the people who took you captive to have compassion on you. See, some of y'all, when y'all been dealing with the word and you wonder why people want to be so nice to you, or these other nations, and want to do stuff for you, that's because the Lord told you in his word, if you return to me and do what I say, I'll touch these people, I'll make these people have compassion on you, I'll make these people do something for you. Y'all are not in control of nothing other than one thing. And what's that one thing you think that is y'all in control of, Lamar? That's big stuff. Sounds like a little big nothing. You know, any of y'all know what the one thing, you can still answer. Any of y'all know the one thing y'all in control of? What you think the one thing you in control of? That's it. Your actions. That's it. That's the only thing y'all in control of. Whether you're going to obey or disobey. That's the only thing y'all got control of. Everything else, the Lord in control of that. He in control if he wants you to be married. Because he'll send a spouse to you. You know what I'm talking about? He in control if you're going to have a job. He in control if you're going to be unemployed. He going to be in control of where you work. He going to be in control of how long you work. He'll be in control of how long you'll be unemployed. He in control of where you're going to live. He in control of whether you live or not. You know what I'm talking about? He in control if he going to allow you to hear the word or get the word or not. He in control of every single thing. But I'm sitting here telling you the reason why we just read this the other day. The reason why the Lord don't let y'all get it, let y'all get certain things or do certain things because you're not even faithful with what you got, but yet you want more. And you can't even handle what you got. But you want the Lord to give you more. That's why He don't give you more. Because you ain't going to know what to do with it. And it ain't just got to be with money or none of that stuff. You ain't going to know what to do with it. Some of y'all want to be married. Some of y'all don't. But if you got a spouse, you wouldn't know what to do with it. Some of y'all already married, so it don't make no difference. Most of y'all married. That's only y'all over there at Britain House. There's people that's unmarried. But there's other people who might see this video down the line that the Lord permit, want to be married. They ain't ready for no. They can't even handle it. They ain't gonna know what to do when they get it. You got to be careful the things you say you want, not knowing you ain't being and wondering why the Lord ain't getting it to you because you're not handling your business. You got to be cognizant of this one thing: you are in control of nothing. If this man wants something to be brought to pass, he'll bring it to pass. All you got to do is put your trust in him. This man could be like this here. You could be like, man, I need a job. I need a job. Does that mean you just sit around waiting for a job to fall out of the sky? No, not necessarily. But a lot of times, when you seeking this man and doing what, you get a job in the least place you expected at. You wouldn't even be looking for it, and it pop up. You know what I'm talking about? Because the man makes something happen. I'd like to say, I always use the example with Nell. That what she got now, she didn't see that coming. That was a temp job. That was only supposed to last 7 days. But that's what the Lord wanted her. She called into a lot of places. You know what I'm talking about? Told her to quit her job at Chili's. She didn't hesitate. She quit her job and got something better in the end. Because if you're serving the living God, everything work out for you, for your benefit. Everything work out for your benefit. It's not a vain thing to serve this man. But y'all got to trust this man. Going back over here to Deuteronomy 33. We still here? Let's look at verse 8. I think we'll get finished. We'll stop at Levi. I might could go into Benjamin and Joseph, but I think we'll probably stop at Levi. See what time it is. Yeah, we probably stop at Levi. He said, and of Levi he said, let Thummim and Urim and thy Urim be with thy set apart one, whom thou didst prove at Massa, whom thou didst strive at the waters of Meribah, who said unto his father and to his mother, I have not seen him. Neither did he acknowledge his brethren, nor knew his own children, for they have observed thy word and kept thy covenant. They shall teach Jacob thy judgments, and Israel thy law, and they shall put incense before thee, and hold burnt sacrifices upon thine altar. Bless Yah his substance, and accept the work of his hands. Smite through the loins of them that rise against him, and of them that hate him, that they rise not again. So as we go back and we look at verse 8, does any of y'all know what Thummim and Urim is? You know what that is? Glover, Nicole, Ron, I know Pell know what it is. Any of y'all know what that is? I can't remember specifically what that's at in the law. Pell, you know, remember what that's exactly at in the law when he took. But basically, that was a rod that they used to seek an answer from Yah. This was specifically for the high priest. Pell, if you can remember what that's at in the law where it's first mentioned, that I gladly appreciate it. Matter of fact, give me a second. But you see what he said, let the Thummim and Urim be with thy Kodesh one. We know who the Kodesh one of Israel is, the Holy One of Israel, ain't it? That's Yahshua. So he said, let the word of Yah be with him, because what does Levi mean? Join the Yah, right? You know what I'm talking about? And we know Yahshua told us he was Levi when he said, me and my father are one. I'm joined to him, and we know he the high priest, because that's who had the Thummim and Urim. Let's look at Exodus 28. Exodus 28 and 30. Exodus 28 and 30. Make it 29. Exodus 28 and 29. And Aaron shall bear the names of the children of Israel in the breastplate of judgment upon his heart. You think Yahshua don't bear that in the breastplate of his heart? You think the children of Israel don't rest in him when he laid his life down for them? When he go into the set apart place for memorial before Yah continually. Hold what you got to look at Hebrews 7. Because he said he keep the breastplate of the children of Israel in his heart when he go into the set apart place, into the holy tabernacle. Let's see what. Huh? Y'all right over that mic? I know it's rough when you got that phlegm. Hebrews 7:24. He said, but this man, because he continueth forever, have an unchangeable priesthood. Wherefore he is able to save them to the uttermost that come under God by him, seeing he ever lived to make intercession for them. For such a high priest become us, who is Kodesh, harmless, undefiled, separate from sinners, made higher than the heavens, who need not daily as those high priests to offer up sacrifice, first for his own sins and then for the people's. But this he did once when he offered up himself. Because knowing that, he said in Isaiah that this man's soul would be an offering for sin. For the law make men high priests which have infirmity, but the word of an oath which was since the law made the Son, who is consecrated forevermore. Because for Aaron to be a high priest, he had to be consecrated too. Then he had to be sanctified. You know what I'm saying? We done read some of them things recently. But you see this here, he said that's a memorial before y'all. You think it ain't a memorial before y'all every time you sit down and look at Yeshua on his right hand? To remember the covenant between Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob? That's a memorial. That's a remember. He could look at Yahshua, not like he would have to do it to remember. You know what I'm saying? Because you got to be careful. You know, some niggas stupid and they'll play that type of game. You know what I'm talking about? But hey, that's a memorial. Because when he in a set apart place, what you going in a set apart place for other than to make intercession for the people? That makes sense to y'all? Come on back over here to Exodus 28. He say, and thou shalt put in the breastplate of judgment the Urim and Thummim, and they shall be upon Aaron's heart when he go in before Yah. And Aaron shall bear the judgment of the children of Israel upon his heart before Yah continually. So that's why he said, let that be what is set apart one day. And you can see Aaron is the high priest. This who's supposed to have it. So obviously it would make sense that Yahshua would have it because he's bearing the judgment of the children of Israel in his heart when he's go before Yah. See, let's look at Leviticus 8. See what Leviticus got for us on. See if we need that. No, we don't need that. That's good enough. That's good enough. That's good enough. So you see how that work out? That makes sense for you the other month. Alrighty then. What about you, Jim Dandy? He's not with us right now. So now as you look at this here, let's look at these strove at the waters to prove them at Massa and strove by the martyrs of Meribah. Let's look at Numbers 21 if I'm not mistaken. Number 21, about 16. Y'all hold on one second. Make sure that's the right location. Make sure that's the right location. Y'all give me 1 second to make sure that's the right location. Because I'm thinking that number 21 and 16 is that location he referring to, but I got to make sure. Because I remember with Massa. Massa's what he tempted him at. Before we go any further, let's look at Exodus 17 and 7. Exodus 17 and 7, because that's dealing with him executing that judgment. Because I remember that Massa. They tried him at Massa. I remember that there, because that's where you get don't tempt Yah your God from. That's why I had to check that before we look at that number 21. Look at about verse, make it verse 2. Matter of fact, make it verse 1. And all the congregation of the children of Israel journeyed from the wilderness of sin after their journey. You see that key thing? See, when they came up out of the wilderness, they came out of sin. See, that's the whole key thing you got to look at, but that's another time for another day. It might be in one of the videos from the past. And their journeys according to the commandment of Yah, and pitched and wrecked them, and there was no water for the people to drink. Wherefore the people did chide with Moses and said, give us water that we may drink. And Moses said unto them, why chide you with me? Wherefore do you tempt Yah? The people thirsted there for water, and the people murmured against Moses, saying, wherefore is this that thou hast brought us up out of Egypt, to kill us and our children and our cattle with thirst? And Moses cried unto Yah, what shall I do unto this people, for they be almost ready to stone me? And Yah said unto Moses, go on before the people, and take with thee the elders of Israel, and thy rod, and whither thou smote the river, take in thy hand and go. And behold, I will stand before thee upon the rock in Horeb. Thou shalt smite the rock, and there shall come water out of it, that the people may drink. And Moses did so in the sight of the elders of Israel. And he called the name of the place Massa and Meribah, because of the chiding of the children of Israel, because they tempted Yah, saying, Is Yah amongst us or not? So now when we sit there and look at this, the people are chiding him after they come out of the wilderness. They say, we need water. You done brought us up out of bondage, and you ain't gave us no thirst. You ain't gave us no water for our thirst. But what did YESHUA tell you in John 7? We read it all the time. If any man thirst, let him do what? Come unto me. He's saying, out of his belly shall flow rivers of living water. Because see, this is the whole key thing you're looking at. This is what a lot of people be looking at, why they don't get the Spirit. I've been coming up out of it. I done stopped sinning. I'm keeping the commandment. How come I ain't got no water? How come I ain't got no water? You know what I'm talking about? What you need, man? You need to take. Oh, you looking at me? You looking at me? Oh, okay. Like this here now. So when he said they murmured, talking about we don't die without this thirst and where that water at, he told them to hit this rock. Let's look at 1 Corinthians 10. Now you see the child in that chair, Mary Bible, they said they proved him out. Because with that situation was to show you, y'all came to show you, I give you living water. I give you everlasting life. I can give it to you. I'm a God that saves. First Corinthians 10, verse 1. She's sucking her thumb right now? Oh, no, she on that pouch spot. He said, moreover, brethren, I would not that you should be ignorant of how all our fathers were under the cloud and passed through the sea. All were baptized under Moses in the cloud and in the sea, and did all eat the same spiritual meat, and did all drink the same spiritual drink. For they that drank of that spiritual rock that followed them, and that rock was the Messiah. See, that's this whole thing that we're looking at. Is that they drunk from that same rock. They drunk that same water. They drunk that water of the word. Now, did they have the access to eternal life then? No. But they drinking from the same thing that we drunk from. We have to sit there and look at that. That's why he said that about that, because he showed them judgment at that time. Then he killed some of them. He killed some of them for murmuring and complaining. Look at Deuteronomy 6 and 16. So y'all can see when you read the Lord say it's written, don't tempt Yah thy God. This is where he was getting it from. Right out the law. Because this is what Israel did. No, it's not the same. She don't have that piggy type face. You don't want Leah go to crying, she look like a little piglet. You can look crazy all you want. I've been calling her piggy for a long time when she cried. Is that the first time you ever heard me say that much? All right then. Well, that's my piggy. Deuteronomy 6. Matter of fact, back up. 5 verse 12. He says, then beware, lest thou forget Yah, which brought thee forth out of the land of Egypt from the house of bondage. See, some of y'all done forgot this man. As a matter of fact, hold what you got. Go to James 1. Go to James 1. Thank the Lord. Thank the Lord. Lord good to it now. I would say so. I thank the Lord. He give us something to consider every week. Give you something to hear. Maybe you save your soul from it. James 1 and 22. And he says, be ye doers of the word, and not hearers only, deceiving your own selves. For if any be a hearer of the word and not a doer, he's like unto a man beholding his natural face in a glass. For he behold himself and go his way, and straightway forget what manner of man he was. That's what some of y'all do. Y'all just sit there, y'all hear the word, but you ain't doing it, and you like a man looking in that glass, and when you walk off, you forgot what you look like. You forgot you were filthy. Look at 2 Peter 2. Second epistle of Peter, chapter 1, I should say. About verse 4. I'm going to rhyme down. He said, whereby are given unto us exceeding great and precious promises. Back it up to verse 3. According as his divine power given unto us all that pertain unto life and godliness, through the knowledge of him that hath called us to glory and virtue, See, to be virtue, you need to be pure. That's what he's telling you. He's calling you to be glorious and to be pure. Whereby are given unto us exceeding and great precious promises, that by these you might be partakers of the divine nature. By these great promises, you got to believe and obey it, that you can take on the Spirit, to take on the godly nature. Having escaped the corruption that is in the world through lust. That's what he was telling you. I done delivered you from Egypt, from bondage. I done delivered you from all this here. Through, like they said, I done delivered you this here so you can be delivered from the world, which ain't nothing but lust. He said, besides this, giving all diligence. You know what it means to be diligent, y'all don't? Add to your faith virtue. You need to get clean. You need to be pure. And the virtue, knowledge. You need to know what God's will is and perform it. And the knowledge, temperance. Then you need to learn how to control yourself. And the temperance, patience. And the patience, godliness. And the godliness, brotherly kindness. You need to learn how to love one another. If y'all say y'all family in the Lord, y'all need to know how to love each other. Y'all need to know how to treat each other. He's saying the brotherly kindness, charity. For if these things be in you and abound, they make you that you shall neither be barren nor unfruitful in the knowledge of our Lord YESHUA the Messiah. He said, if you got these things that were just mentioned, you will be able to bear fruit. You won't be barren. But guess what he said in verse 9 though? He said, but he that lacked these things is blind and cannot see afar off, and have forgotten that he has been purged from his old sins. See, if you forget these things, your sins still remain. You done forgot. Go back to Deuteronomy 6. That's all that's time back into it, what the Lord telling these people. Beware lest you forget Yah. If you forget to do all these things he mentioned, to be virtuous, to be kind, to have brotherly kindness, to have love, to have temperance, to have the knowledge of God, to have patience, to have godliness, you done forgot Yah. Which means you done forgot YESHUA, wouldn't you say? I would say so. He said in verse 13, thou shalt fear Yah thy God, serve him, and shalt swear by his name. Thou shalt not go after other gods or the gods of the people which are round about you. For Yah thy God is a jealous God among you, lest the anger of Yah thy God be kindled against thee, and destroy thee from off the face of the earth. We just looked at that. Let the anger of Yah be kindled against you, he's going to get you out of here. Look what he said in verse 16. Ye shall not tempt Yah your God as you tempted him in Massa. You know what that's going back to? Look at Ephesians 1. No, Ephesians 4 actually. That's what it was. See, they tempted y'all in Massa and Meribah. Because they just sitting like this here. We ain't got no water to drink. Y'all be tempting God, worrying a man about when you going to get the Spirit, when you be murmuring and complaining, doing stuff you ain't got no business. And you worrying about when he going to give you a gift that come from him that you don't even deserve. And that goes for everybody. Don't nobody deserve the Spirit. You going to bother this man. Look at verse 21. Not 21. Make it 22. He said that you put off concerning the former behavior, the old man, which is corrupt according to deceitful lust. See, a lot of y'all ain't put off the behavior of your old man. You done put off a few things, or you done modified a few things, or you done covered a few things up, but you ain't put it off though. He said, be renewed in the spirit of your mind, that you put on the new man, which is after God is created in righteousness and true codestness. Wherefore, listen what this man tell you. Wherefore, put away lying. Some of y'all still be telling lies. You know what I'm talking about? On certain things too. Don't tell people you're going to do something and then don't do it. Just say, hey, I'll do this here if the Lord permits. That's better, sir. But if you already know in your mind you don't want to do it or you're not going to do it, just say so. Just say so. You know what I'm talking about? But I'm just saying that on a minor thing, because I know sometimes you tell people you'll do something for them, and then things come up, and that don't necessarily be your intention. You know what I'm talking about? But you go on there and say, hey, I'll do this here if the Lord permits. Because you don't want to mess around and you've been told a lie. You've been intending to tell a lie, but you've been mess around and told a lie. Some of you niggas just outright lying, though. And you know you be outright lying. And then on top of that, when you talking about putting away lying, stop being a hypocrite saying you live one way and you don't. You know what I'm talking about? Listen to what the man tell you. What else he say? Speak every man truth with his neighbor, for we are members one of another. He said, if we members one of another, if we are the same family, the same household, we ain't even got no business talking to each other like. So now you can tell, not only is he not talking about dealing with, he ain't talking about dealing with outsiders. Because when he says speak truth every man to his neighbor, he talking about us, and that's going back to Zechariah. Because he told you that in Zechariah, don't lie to each other. Look what else he said. He said, be ye angry and sin not. Let not the sun go down upon your wrath. You can get angry. That don't give you no right to sin, though. And he said, you don't need, if the sun go down, you need to let it go. It's done. It's over. Neither give place to the devil. Let him that stole steal no more, but rather let him labor, working with his hands the thing which is good, that he might give to him that need. Let no corrupt communication proceed out your mouth. You ain't got no business cussing. You ain't got no business telling no dirty jokes. That man say no corrupt communication, because when you talk like that, the Lord can be blamed. And yes, that's corrupt communication, because you can corrupt people's minds and thought processes talking like that. And if you think that's not possible, just think about all the music you've been listening to in your youth and how that stuff corrupted you. Or the movies or television shows you done watched it, and you done find yourself doing behaviors or speaking the way you seen the people speak. He say, but that which is good to the use of edifying, that it may minister grace unto the hearers. Grieve not the Kodesh Spirit of God, whereby you are sealed unto the day of redemption. Let bitterness, wrath, anger, clamor, and evil speaking be put away from you with all malice. You got to get rid of all of that. That's what we were talking about earlier about matters of the heart. You know what I'm talking about? That's the stuff people want to hold on to. Bitterness, wrath, anger, clamor. Want to speak evil about people. You know what I'm talking about? All being malicious. He said you need to get rid of that. He said, be ye kind one to another, tender-hearted, forgiving one another, even as God for the Messiah's sake hath forgiven you. That's what you need to consider. That's what you need to consider. You need to consider all of that, what that man just told you. Now let's look at Numbers 21. Now when we go back and look at this water, it makes perfect sense. That's why he just hit my mind. Go tell him about Master and Marathon. I was sure that's what it was, but I had to double check. Gotta make sure. Gotta make things so things accurate. Numbers 21 and 16. If I get there in the timely fashion, we might have made something happen. He's saying, from thence they went to Beer. This is the well whereof Yah spake unto Moses. Gather the people together, I will give them water. Then Israel sang this song, Spring up, O well, sing ye unto it. The princes digged the well, the nobles of the people digged it, by the direction of the lawgiver with their staves, and from the wilderness they went to Mattanah. So you sitting there looking at it, he said, hey man, gather the people up, I give them water, and they say Israel sung up a song saying, spring up a well. He gave you water. That well is Yahshua. It sprung up when he came up out the grave. And he said it was by the direction of a lawgiver. We know Yahshua the lawgiver, because he's the high priest, is he not? So now you need to sit there and look at that. Everything tied right back to the Lord and that gift of the Spirit. Let's go back to Deuteronomy 33 so we get on done. This is getting late. It's 11:45. Deuteronomy 33, we looking at what? By verse 9, he said unto his father and his mother, I have not seen him, neither did he acknowledge his brethren, nor knew his own children, for they observed thy word and kept thy covenant. And all that's going to is, the world going to hate you. They going to hate you. That's a blessing. Say, people, all you got to do is you preserve that word and that covenant. He said, they shall teach Jacob thy judgments and Israel thy law, and they shall put incense before thee, whole burnt sacrifice upon the altar. And remember, Yahshua said he offered himself as a sacrifice, sweet smelling savor. Because remember, the priest is the one that teach the word. So you already knowing those who are priests by him going to teach the word. To teach the people to offer themselves as a sacrifice. Because remember what Peter told you? He said y'all built up as a holy priesthood. Offering up spiritual sacrifices acceptable to God. And he says in verse 11, and bless Yah his substance, and accept the work of his hands. Smite through the loins of him that rise against him, and of them that hate him, let them rise not again. We just read about him slaughtering them people that rose up against him, that smite him in his loins. Because what he told you in Revelation 1 is that every eye going to see him, even those that pierced him, they going to wail because of him. Then he said, accept the work of his hands. He said, let the meditation of my heart and my work, meditation of my heart and my works be acceptable unto God. How else God going to accept you unless you come through Yahshua? God ain't accepting nobody don't come through Yahshua, is he? He's not going to bless none of your substance. But we'll get into that more in depthly later on down the line. John 5:39. Just because of time period. We'll get more in depthly off into that, y'all. But yeah, I was utterly insane that much to think we'd be able to complete all that this evening, didn't we? Man, I don't know what I was thinking now. Guess that was wishful thinking on my part. Call me what you want, but you can't beat me up though. How about that? John 5:39. Search the scriptures, for in them you think you have eternal life, and they are they which testify of me. And you will not come to me that you might have life. I receive not honor from men, But I know you, that you have not the love of God in you. I come in my Father's name, and you receive me not. If another shall come in his own name, him you will receive. How can you believe which we receive honor of one of another, and seek not the honor that comes from God only? Do not think that I will accuse you to the Father. There is one that accused you, even Moses, in whom you trust. For had you believed Moses, you would have believed me, for he wrote of me. But if you believe not his writings, how shall you believe my words? I say hallelujah for Yahshua, and blessed be the Father in the name of Yahshua for the word. Y'all understood all of this here?